There we go. Right. Now this felt like it's been a while, huh? New week means more. Mahoyo. Finally. Feeling it's been forever this time. Goddamn. Just make sure audio quality is good. Okay, hold on. Yes, I burped hard. Hey, we're looking good. Alright. Now, I actually have some great news for those who don't know, which I guarantee most of you. Yes, this whole week I am off because it's Easter. So that means these streams can go on for a lot longer than normal. So we might be. I mean, I'm not saying like we'll go till this game's over. No. But it's like we don't have to worry too much about time constraints because, well, there is no time constraint, right? So we're just gonna go. That's what we're gonna do. And I think, without further ado, let's just go. Start. Let's do this. As night appeared, two things vanished. The first was a whimsical snowfall. The second was the lights of the mansion on top of the hill. Yeah, it's pretty fucking dark. Alco and Alice were nowhere to be seen inside. Only soldier remained. It's the night of Christmas Eve. But Alco and Alice had yet to find Toko. They knew everything would be concluded over the course of this day and the next. Christmas comes but once a year. It's a single time for endings and new beginnings. In Japan, modern holiday dated back only about 100 years, and celebrated Christ's birth only in name with all its latter-day trappings. It was a pure homage, no corruption of the festival that inspired it. Regardless, there was a significant increase in the land's mana during festivals. Such charged distortions were a boon to a mage's crafts, be it creative or destructive. Toka Aosaki sought to destroy the local sigils, and scattered and properly cycled the magical energy of the land and its people. So he was able to gather that much from Alco and Alice's conversation. Toka had already claimed 3 sigils. That's not good. Only 2 remained. Even the loss would signal Alco and Alice's defeat. But to protect the remaining ones, he had to split up. Alco lacked power, so she would need to borrow a ploy from Alice and head to the Tokawa sigil, which boasted the greatest local energy supply. Alice would go fully equipped to the sigil in Yashirogi. Free from the constraints of civilized society, witchcraft is most powerful at midnight. The young witch and the apprentice mage wished each other luck before leaving the mansion. It's almost 10 at night. After the girls set out, the first 2 hours passed quickly. Mike was ready to head off, so she walked with her to the foyer. Neither had spoken a word to each other. She departed without showing any sign of fear. That's good. It was difficult to tell whether she did not want to get him involved, or whether she did not see him a trustworthy ally in combat. But what can Sojiro do? The thought stuck with him. Ugh, fucking you and me both, man. Another long sigh. Not out of dejection or frustration, of course. It was mechanical, emotionless breath. He sat on the near frozen floor, staring vacantly up at the night sky. Moonlight peeked through the clouds. He imagined the moonlight bouncing off the town's powdery blanket and illuminating the night. He would not find himself downtown. Much on the sidelines was his role to begin with. roommates, and you live worlds apart. You cannot keep up with them. Do not show the same kind of will. Remain on the sidelines. However,
そうか。この手が必要な時はもうないのか。
basically, yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. Soja looked up at the moon. Somewhere deep inside, he felt a trickle of sadness. Just real quick. Yeah, just like a little bit. There, alright. Held in white and cloaked in darkness. Or seemed like a forgotten memory. A soul was in sight. The night felt far more enigmatic than usual, yet the air was clean enough to drink. Only a sliver of moonlight peered through the clouds. It lit up the entire world. In those moments, a young girl's footsteps echoed, trampling the still white silence under a midnight sun. The pale moon illuminated the inky blue sky. Only a few streetlights and an incongruous phone booth betrayed signs of civilization. A girl appeared, dressed in black. Hey, Alice. Against the snowy landscape, the figure of Alice Kwanji was unmistakable. Pure black, deeper than even the night. Her overcoat, gloves, and I had even her hair and eyes. Things stirred for a time. Not Alice, not the white scenery. The world was a still painting of a snowy field. Noontime mood gradually darkened the lights in the park, and eventually the nearby homes as well. Yasurogi was more modern developed town than Misaki. When the park was located in the center of town, it had become a blind spot. And overlooked by developers and carried no commercial value. A few houses encircled the park, street lights turned off at midnight. It was a white night. People even machines were fast asleep.
私が先なのね。
Yes. Alice whispered, watching the street lights slowly fade. She thought she heard a dog howling in the distance. Perhaps it was howling at the moon. The howl reached deeper into the night than expected. A wolf, maybe? The phone rang. It was perhaps the first time in a rung since Soldier moved into the mansion. Hello. Hesitantly, he picked up the receiver and brought it to his ear. He heard nothing. He felt he had to say something, but couldn't think of what. Maybe something like, hello, Kawanji residence. Or maybe, you reached the Awasaki residence. He was in deep thought. A voice as light as air came through the receiver.
しずき
Alice? Soldier could barely hear the voice, but it was definitely Alice's. Wait, what happened?
そうだけど、アリス。
No response. The silence was as profound as the night. The sound of static from the receiver. Long pause. Alice finally spoke.
青子はいる
No.
いや、まだ帰ってないけど。
そう
With a click, the call ended. Soldier wondered if she had had something to say, but could not respond in time. I'm getting worried for Alice, man. Oh. The fuck was that? Slowly they advanced, carving through the fresh snow. There were so many. Where did they all come from? Dozens of feral dogs snarled at Alice, their eyes trained on her. The snow clung to the beast's mangy fur. Her clenched fangs and bloodshot eyes hid a barely restrained hunger that might burst forth like lightning at any moment. They yearned to taste her flesh, her warm flesh, and satiate their empty bellies. To them, the girl in black stood like a lighthouse in a stormy sea. But you could deal with these, right? You got this shit. She watched them, disinterested. Forget that the Yashirogu sigil was the key target tonight. Not Tokawa, where Aoko had gone. That had always been unflappable. The child's play before her was hardly about to change that. The main enemy was not the dog surrounding her. The long mage behind them. Toko Aozaki.
ひどい趣味。ここ数年で品が落ちたの。まあ、それならそれで嬉しいけど。これが地金なら、青崎との付き合いもいよいよ白紙に戻せるわ。
Yeah. Toko laughed at the Akihabara taunt.
いやいや、これは不可抗力でね。安心しろアリス。間違っても私の趣味じゃない。
You finna lose! Crunching through the fallen snow, Toko slowly came into view. Into view she did. Hey, she wore a moss green coat that contrasted sharply with Alice's garb. I'm gonna get this one too. A silk scarf warmed her neck. She stood tall, her hair short, striking a more valiant posture than any young man. After all, two standing here needed to be less like the shining moon. More and more like the darkness surrounding it. My god, please destroy me. Hey, G2. You made the perfect time here, didn't you? The barking abated. Like servants in a royal court, they averted their eyes from their ruler. Lest their eyes and hearts be plucked out. Pluck my heart out.
久しぶりだね、アリス。
Could you not hurt Alice? I'd appreciate that. Like seriously, could you not hurt Alice?
トウコさんもお元気そうで。
Okay, okay. Formalities, formalities. I mean, sure. Suppose they haven't done anything to not earn formalities, right? Stood about 12 feet apart. No love had been lost between them. Just two enemies. One who was to be vicious, one who was to be victorious, one who was to fall.
さて、どうしようかアリス。積もる話もある。君の近況にも興味がある。そもそも今回の件についていろいろと説明したくてたまらない。
Oh, really? So much you've been dying to tell her, huh?
5分ほど時間を割いても構わないか？
5 minutes?
お断りよ。あなたと5分も話をしていたら、その隙に内臓まで売却されそう。
Exactly, bro. Like Alice, you know what to do. The following events unfolded quickly. Boldly and without a second's thought. Alice pulled out a cat's bell from the seam of her mantle and dropped it. Diddle diddle. Yeah, about to be a showdown, boys. Beginning of Alice Kwanji's magecraft. Start to a night of fairy tales. Alco favored a quick draw approach, something from a western. However, Alice preferred sleight of hand. She used her target's blind spots against them, and ended the game before they knew it had begun. The bell fell, like a coin into a fountain. Oh. Uh-oh. Then as it was about to strike the ground, it shattered, disappearing without a trace.
ルーン、
Oh, oh.
ああ、一日かけて公園中に刻ませてもらった。この公園の道はレンガだからね。手間こそかかったが簡単な仕事だった。
Shit.
周りの森まで見て、ざっと400平米のキャンバスだ。面白いだろ？
Yes, but like fuck.
今私たちは30万字以上のルーンの上にいる。
300,000 characters worth of runes. So what you're saying is every single spell Alice has will get cancelled here. Is what you're implying, Toko. Thank you. Shit. Swallowing hard. Now let's take a step back. Toko got carved runes all over the ground. In the area Diddle wrecked the two alone, was a depressing amount of them. Had she truly carved them into the whole park? Let's not react with surprise. She simply narrowed her eyes. You could see how it would have taken the whole day. It's no wonder Diddle, Banquet of the Night, was destroyed by the skin of sun. Still, something bothered Alice.
一体どうやって隠していたの？
That's a good question. There were just so many. What kind of magecraft could do that?
ああ、ちょっと特別性。
How?
このルーンね、普段は確定していないんだ。こうしている今も変形している。パッと見はただの傷跡。それが強い魔力に触れると元の形に立ち戻る。
Bro, that's some bullshit.
記憶ルーンとでも言おうかな。
That's some bullshit.
そんなわけで、いかなる夜の深さをもってしても、この太陽は没しない。
She spoke modestly. Alice could not imagine the amount of persistence, technique, and skill it must have taken. It only took a day. Even 10 mages would have trouble producing so many sophisticated runes in that time. Moreover, these runes were made using unknown techniques the Association had not approved.
負け惜しみだけど、私みたいな小娘一人に大人げないわね、トウコさん。
It is. It's a lot to use on one person, bro. You are going a bit extreme there. I'm not gonna lie. You're going a bit hard for no reason.
バカを言うな。君を小娘だなんて一度も思ったことはないよ。まあ、私好みの体だと眠めつけることはあったがね。
Huh? What? Hey, yo? Oh! Have it in the blink of an eye. Let's cut off Toko's snide remark with a deadly stare. The left eye of the darkly clad girl had changed in color to an ominous ruby. What the hell? That's so cool. The speed of the incantation was phenomenal. Alice's mystic eyes of enthralling snare Toko. Yo, she has a mystic eye? Well, mystic eyes, but there's only one. What the hell? That's so cool. She had been the one to, quite literally, be taken captive by the girl's stare. Got him! Toko tried to raise her arm. Not even move a finger. Alice's mystic eyes commanded absolute control, with no room for resistance. Oh. The person's internal organs were allowed the freedom to move. Since her organs still functioned, it's precise to say that her eyes forbid the target from acting. That's like, but isn't that, that's like arcs though, isn't it? That's basically the same. And Toko's did the same thing, so I think that'd be like a default mystic eye of like, oh, you can't move. That's had played her hand with exquisite timing. It's the speed of her eyes that had given her an edge. Deftness with which she wove her spells to exploit the briefest vulnerability is what made Alice a different caliber to other mages like Aoka. This witch Lived hidden in the modern era. He's more seasoned in magic battles than Toko Aozaki.
だが残念。ディドルディドルが響かないのでは魔眼のアクロスティック化はできないようだな。欲しいね。あの月目のプロエキシャーならこれで私の方はお手上げだったろうが。
So we are going to pay for the fact we don't have Kickshaw, huh? Shit, oh, we don't have the moon. Flat snark. Oh, fuck. Formation holding Toko began to distort. Think of an eye. Mage. I'd best at Atlas' Mystic Eyes. Oh, isn't that just great? Fuck. This black outfit fluttered in the wind. She was not facing Toko head on. She was not facing Toko head on. The mage had recovered from her own mystic eyes. At the root of Toko's mystic eyes was a spell of mesmerize. It was effective when facing their prey. His eyes could mind-jack a target's awareness. It's difficult to resist head-on. However, its effect was greatly diminished if the target was not facing the eyes directly, even if it was within range. Moreover, Go was the last witch of her lineage, commanded a great number of fairy tales. This mystic eyes had projector effects, but treading one's body was enough to repel half of the magical energy. Oh. Like Aoko's eyes. Like Alice's eyes. I think I'm cooked. Uh-oh. What happened, Kumi? Like Alice's eyes, Toko's could also disable actions. Actually, you're talking about Honkai, aren't you? Or Third Impact, I should say. Uh-oh. Let's not escape by the skin of her teeth. I just drank an energy drink. Ah! Well, you didn't need to do that. The damage she'd suffer was the weight of a twig-drop forest. You just had to let the energy pass through. What? The bounce off the walls? Damn. I swear to God if something happens to Alice, bro. I'm not tired anymore. Well, I mean, it's supposed to do that. In an instant. A startling chill ran through Alice's body. What? This was a problem. The touch of death ran up her spine. Giant. But like, could you leave Alice alone? She glared at the mage before her. His blue rubber balls flowed out from beneath her overcoat. What? The stare-off grew more intense. Alice glared harder, resisting Toko's mystic eyes with her own. Loosing was not an option. It was a raw magical energy. Alice Kuanji's mystic eyes were more powerful and advanced than Toko's. But... nice. That's what she the best? And nobody could beat her. And yet, her unfiltered stock of magical energy, stifled by old-fashioned values, was no match for Toko's madness. Deeper within her eyes, some of the eyes revealed a sealed power. What? 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 Inside the crystalline lens of the mage's left iris was a bottomless pit. A Klein cube. Now what the hell is a Klein cube, bro? How's Winston Payne? Let me sit up here. Hold on. Hold on. Findings grew in number. So many mystic eyes. Thousands, perhaps. All fixed on Alice. Wait, you're trying to say... Oh shit. You're trying to say that Toko has multiple Mystic Eyes in one? Bro. Pressure. So much pressure. Endless. Alice knew it. She saw. Incredulously. She saw eyes growing within eyes. Toko had placed opposing mirrors inside her eyes, resulting in an infinite glare. It's the act of a madwoman, getting mystic eyes within mystic eyes. She could even control the resulting chaos caused by all the copies. Insanity knew no bounds. How the fuck did you do that, though? No mage in the right mind would mass-produce so many mystics. That's the escape of humankind so indiscriminately.
やれやれ、これもお気に召さないか。私なりにマインスターの真似事をしてみたつもりなんだが、うまくできているだろう。君の悪路のように希少な神秘で現実をねじ曲げるのではなく、量産した神秘で現実をねじ伏せる。
Bro.
物自体はただの魔眼。だがその段数には果てがない。
Infinite Mystic Eyes. What
相
the
手がどれ
hell?
ほどの魔力抵抗を持っていようと、それ以上の魔力で拘束するだけのものだ。
She wielded power without limit to disable an opponent. Wait, so theoretically, could Toko use this against Ark and actually, like, restrain her? Theoretically, of course. Could she actually do that? Once one was caught in them, one was chained to the concept of infinity. Projection type eyes had a fatal flaw. 5 power and 4 melee were insignificant compared to the great artillery of incanted spells. But Toko had torn down that conventional wisdom with brute strength. The gun was a pea shooter. Simply needed to bring more guns. A 9mm bullet could never destroy a fortress, so for a fortress mass of bullets at it. The principle was brutally simple. In the world of magecraft, where concepts decided supremacy, Togo's irritative mystic eyes were the perfect weapon. They were bound until she closed her eyes. In theory, at least, the effects were infinite. No amount of magical energy could ever overcome it, so it was utterly futile to resist using magical energy. Of course, one way to counter it would be to stay out of Toko's line of sight to begin with. Standard tactic against Mystic Eyes was to defeat the use before they were aware of you. There was, however, another way. It was simpler than one might think.
ともあれ、これで罪だ。何か言い残すことは？
Frankly, I don't have any last words. I just wish you'd leave Alice alone. Alice could no longer see her enemy. Toko's infinite eyes had her bound. She could make out was a sliver of moonlight. A blue streak, tracing its way towards her.
結構悔いのない人生で羨ましい。
She was a rune in the air. She was shockwave to tear flesh asunder. The gusts became blades of air that shredded Alice's overcoat and minced. What? Blue feathers flitted all around. Toko felt something behind her and turned. 5 cat-shaped bells were thrown at her feet. What? Just as quick as they shattered to pieces. Standing before her was a completely unharmed Alice Kuwanji.
そよ風みたいなルーンね。トウコさん、 本当に鈍った？
Bruh, that's what. Bruh, I didn't even feel that. Whatever you just did, bro, I didn't even feel that for real.
うつせみか。術者の身代わりになるプロイの話は聞いてなかったな。
That's why she's the best. She probably just made that shit on the spot. That's why Alice is just the best.
ええ。1年のうち365日は役立たずで、どうしてあんなのが古参なのか私も疑問だけど。
The fucking bird! To respond to Alice's words, Ram began chirping frantically. Anonymous sacrifice. Who killed Cock Robin? Echoed into the night, sung out of tune.
ああ、そんな歌もあったな。
So that's what Robin meant when he said that. Soldier, he's the detective and the victim. That's what he meant.
だがあれは一度に一回しか殺されない。二度目はないし、あったとしても。
It squawked a very unbird-like death throw. Behind Alice, Robin fell from its tree, a victim of Toko's mystic eyes.
本当に使えない。
Truly.
さて、ではやり直しだ。あとも使えている。これで終わりにしよう、アリス。どのみち、この公園では手がないだろ。
No.
そうでもないわ。
Yes, I said, no, I'm not out of options.
確かに今の私にあなたの魔眼は破れない。けれど Beauty up is wood and clay, wood and clay, wood and clay. Beauty up is wood and clay, my fair lady.
Is this the tree monster? The song came from the depths of the earth, stirring a mighty quake to Mark. Earth was something gargantuan. Yeah! Nah. We needed to throw Alice into the infinite hell before whatever that was could be completed. She was far too late.
Wood and clay will wash away, falling down, falling down. Beauty up is bricks and mortar, my fair lady.
Yeah! Ground bursts to life. A finger, then another, and another, all rising up like towers. Earth, snow, and brick knitted together, manifesting a giant stone golem.
そんなバカな話があるか。
Something Alice just fixed up on the side. She just worked up on something.
なぜこいつが出てきやがる。
She called it. She was so angry and confused she could barely gather her thoughts. The bridge giant. The monster from the Mindster's fairy tales rose from the ground, ruining Toko's plan. The giant was extremely powerful, but only be summoned under one condition. It must be in proximity to a natural river. That was the monster's one and only condition. But this power was nowhere near one. And on top of that, it was rising up directly between Toko and Alice, mid-battle.
あら、あるでしょう。すぐそこに。
Oh, I believe there is, yes.
川と呼ぶには小さな、すぐに消えてしまうものだけど。
Toko lowered her gaze. She was standing in a puddle of water. The scarred red mage was dumbfounded. That was why Alice had used Diddle Diddle before. While the bells could be replenished, they were valuable to Alice. She had spent 5, throwing them in an intentional line for the sun runes to destroy. From there,
気の気の流水か。
you're... Now what will you do against this, bruh? The bridge monster, bro. Hell yeah. Yo, that's my goat right there. The arms of the famous troll rose up from the stone paving. The monster's torso alone surpassed 80 feet. Its form was made entirely of stone. Previously, she had created one using the trees of a forest. However, Toko knew instantly the monster before her was at least twice as powerful.
止まれ
Nah. These were stacked mystic eyes. They were meaningless on this stage. They had no effect on the giant. As said, mystic eyes can be countered in two ways. The first is to hide oneself from view of the mage. That was the standard response. The other way, however, was devilishly simple yet 100% effective. In fact, it's less of a way, more of a fact. Mystic eyes curse a target by focusing on them. However, what if the target was too large to focus on entirely? Which is this thing, you have to step far back, which is not happening. The answer was, one could barely stop a single arm. The giant, unfazed, raised its right arm and swung it down onto the ground, destroying thousands of runes. Yeah! Fuck your runes, bro! The moss stones were then absorbed into its arm, adding to its mass. As Mage said before, no matter how deep the night, these little suns won't set. While the suns might not set, it could be crushed under the bulk of a giant's hand. Hell yeah! Let's fucking go! The victor of the battle was decided. Gaozaki closed her eyes, prepared to escape. The stray dogs began to whine, bared of the hulking figure before them.
参ったな。私ではマインスターには勝てなかったか。
Damn right you're not.
まあ、そのあたりは今後の課題としよう。
呆れた。逃げられると思っているの？トウコさん。
Yeah?
まさか。そこまで鈍ってはいないよ、アリス。第一、逃げるとしたら、それは私の方じゃないからね。
What? What are you planning now? There's no hint of bravado in Toko's tone. In the face of a titan she had no means of harming, her confidence was unshakable. Reason being?
ま、前座は終わりだ。来い、ベオ。
Alice has done so? What? Bio? Bio? Damn! I didn't know Bio was an actual word being used. This is no longer a battle of skill. Fight's survival had begun. What do you mean? Snap went Toko's fingers. In response, a pure high-pitched melody floated up toward the moon. It echoed all around. The spiral howl dredged up ancient primal memories. Its swords emerged from the shadows and landed next to the mage. It's a dog. It's a dog. Alice's lips trembled faintly. Not from fear, but admiration. And she recognized the creature before her. It was a majestic golden beast, beyond the domain of both magical and phantasmal, simply divine. It's a life that should have passed from the world with the age of gods. Mystic derived from human wisdom, preserved by thousands of generations of hidden tradition. A recreation of a miracle that once freely walked the earth, the natural enemy of magecraft, able to crush it with ease. I'm sorry, it's a dog. Quiet resignation settled over Alice's face. The golden beast charged. This time, she didn't have a chance to admit defeat. What? She could hear the beasts breathing in her ear. It seems she had been unconscious for a short time. Alice opened her eyes, took a deep breath. Wait! Hey! Hey! No! No! No, 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 no. No, no, she's not. No, 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 no. No, she's not. No, I refuse. I refuse to believe that. No, she's not. No, she'll be fine. Soldier will come running for some reason and save her. Aoko will come running. I don't... No, she's not. No, she's not. I refuse to believe that she's dead. Or is dying. I refuse. She doesn't need one. Toko doesn't have one. Because it don't need one. Absolute denial? No, I just don't accept it. Each coughs and pain shooting through her body. Blood rose from the pit of her stomach. She spat onto the cold ground. Vision returned. She was able to make out a distant sky, falling snow, and a golden wolf. The wolf panted. It stared at Alice. Saliva dripping from its mouth onto her cheek. Okay, that's disgusting. I don't need Leo flashbacks, thank you. Razor-sharp fangs lined its jaws. Its fur was glosser than that of any animal she had ever seen. Brutal. Knife-like claws protruded from its massive blood-stained paws. Yet, it did not smell like a beast. Surely, the presence of such a noble creature would feel like the lesser animal. The battle between Alice and the wolf was over before it had begun. Destroying the troll, it baptized Alice with its wicked claws, giving her no chance to escape. Bro. Sideswipe had torn into her abdomen like a sword, carving through her clothes and flesh, all the way to her heart. Even so, not once did Alice make a sound. Wolf had her pinned and stared at her face. Her limbs felt ready to break at any moment. That was the situation she found herself in. Now fully conscious, Alice stared at her enemy through pained eyes. She felt no fear, only cold reality sinking in. Sensing Alice's demeanor, the wolf suddenly paused, its paw still raised. Looked into each other's eyes.
そんなに血が出てるのに痛くないんだ。
The wolf's voice came as a surprise. No doubt it had spoken.
それとも痛いのは平気なのかな。
The wolf's voice sounded innocent, almost childlike. Complete contrast to what had happened up to that point. The wolf smiled.
どっちにしろ我慢強いんだね、お姉ちゃんは。
The wolf opened its mouth wide and clamped its jaws around Alice's neck.
ベオ。
Togo's tone was sharpened than the wolf's fangs. The wolf froze,
トウコさん。
let go, and slowly turned his head towards the voice.
とどめは刺すなと言ったろ。余計な仕事を増やす気か、バカも。それはそれで楽しいのに。ああ、退屈。話に聞いた橋の巨人も結局は他の生き物と一緒だったし。
The wolf backed away from Alice. He's no longer interested in his prey. The golden beast, she was little more than an old chew toy.
Nanda, もう意識が戻ったのか。心もタフなら体も大概だな。骨まで砕いてその程度の出血とは。
Barely clinging to life, Alice stared at Toka. Not a stare of hatred and defeat, but one of disbelief. Alice simply wondered why Toka had brought such a beast.
ああ、紹介が遅れたな。彼はおそらく地上で現存している最後の人狼だ。北欧の奥地に生きる彼らの一族の中に現れた生粋の原種だよ。見ての通り、先祖返りなんて言葉じゃ表せない黄金の神秘でね。名前がなかったんで、わかりやすくベオウルフと呼んでいる。
Beowulf.
ベオウルフ。
Alice's face was perplexed. Maybe she hadn't wavered when she was disemboweled. Beowulf. You know, the heroic giant slayer from Danish legend. From Old English. A combination of honeybee and wild beast. A bear, in other words.
なんでそんなちぐはぐな名前を。
ん？いや、可愛いからに決まってるだろ。
Perhaps because of the name, because of the golden beast itself. Fighting the pain, Alice struggled to read Toko. In this respect, she was worse than Oko.
ついでに説明しておくと、周りの犬どもはベオが勝手に呼び寄せたものだ。私自身、マインスターの娘がただの畜生に傷つけられるとは思ってはいないよ。今のところはね。
Toko's mouth twists into a grin. The warm one Sojiro saw. The merciless smile Victor displays to a loser. The stain in Alice's eyes turned to anger. The golden mystic. How could Toka have brought such a creature into the human world?
何？需要と供給だよ。過疎化は人間だけの問題じゃない。彼らもいい加減、昔ながらの生活には限界が来たらしくてね。話し合いの末、高額で私が買い取った。と言っても、あくまで里から出すだけの権利だがね。
Pay for the rights? What?
お察しの通り、私の髪はベオとの契約に使い切った。自分の髪を使って分身を作るより、強大な怪物を縛り付けた方がよっぽど健全。
What? When she was talking, Toka noticed something strange. An unusual sound. A very natural sound that tore at the mind. A sound that should not have existed. It was coming from the girl's open abdomen.
もう復元が始まったか。いや、というより。
What? What?
ん？何この匂い。トウコさん、なんかワクワクすること起きてない？
Curious, Beowulf moved closer. Like a puppy examining a new toy.
見るな、あっちに行っていろ、ベオ。正気を失っても知らんぞ。
Took a shoot the mud away with her hand. Beowulf lowered his head meekly and withdrew.
教育方針を間違ったかな。まったく、乙女の腹を見ようなんて恥を知れ、恥を。
トウコさんだって見てるじゃない。
バカ。私は乙女だからいいんだ。
Falco had been here. Should have blasted them away for their impudence. Just as she did against Flat Snark.
まあしかしむごいな。こんなになるまで放っておくとは。マインスターは人の親とは言えまいよ。
Gloved hand. Toka ran her fingers along the wound on Alice's abdomen. Hey, could you not touch that? A flash of pain ran through Alice's body. Alice had held in her screams. She finally let out a long breath. Turned her face away in pain or shame.
ほら、もう肌も復元している。骨格、血管はおろか、内臓にまで施されたおびただしいまでの刻印だ。
So she's fine. So she's gonna be fine. That's what I expect. Okay, okay. I mean, for the moment, I don't know if Toko's gonna do some bullshit, but she's gonna be fine.
生後、肉体に魔術回路を付加することは諸刃の剣だ。呪文と自分を一体化させることにより栄唱の手間を省き、術者に多大な利点をもたらす魔術刻印。
Come on, Alice.
しかしそれは多ければ多いほど苦痛を伴う。青崎の刻印は腕一本分。まあ君に比べれば少ない方だな。
Magic crests Toka referred to were the inheritance of the Aosaki family, passed down by their ancestors. They can only be inherited. Toka had received the ones that were meant for Toka.
しかしそれも良し悪しだな。右腕に刻印をした青子の痛みは残る人間の体と神秘となった右腕とが反発する程度だ。通常の肉体が右腕を否定し末梢にかかる痛み、精神的にも肉体的にも生じる幻痛は現在にも似て拭い去ることはできない。だがここまで来ると痛みも何もあるまい。そもそも生きている実感はあるのか？自分が人間だとまだ信じている？ああ、本当にお互い非凡な死を持つと苦労するね、アリス。
Toka took Alice's body in her arms. Wounds from Beowulf had mostly healed. Thank God. What? Even so, her breathing was shallow, likely due to the pain. Toka gently held the girl's face in her hand.
マインスターには恩がある。それに私の相手はあくまで青子一人だ。
Toka, what the hell are you doing? What are you... What are you doing? That's the lungs pained for oxygen. Toko pressed her lips to hers. The young girl wriggled, trying to escape, but Toko held her firmly. Beneath the blue moon, the two remained frozen. Then, the sound of swallowing. What? Something solid slid down Alice's throat. That, she went limp and her arm fell. After setting Alice down on her side, Toko stood up.
今のは七かまどに手を加えた私の特製品だ。そう簡単に解毒はできない。魔力を流せば体の中で暴発する仕組みになっているから気をつけなさい。
What the fuck? Why?
口移しは私の趣味だから、特に気にすることはないよ。
With why mouth? Good translation. Good subtitling there. I guess she just likes kissing. I mean, fair. But what the... She desperately clung to consciousness. Alice looked up at Toka from the ground. The disgrace from the kiss was greater than the pain she felt in her body. Toka began walking away, Golden Wolf in tow. Nina looked back to see Alice's hateful glare.
そうそう、一つ言い忘れていた。ベオが呼び寄せた野犬たちだけどね。公園の外にまだ山ほどいるんだが、困ったことに彼らは本来何を口にするべきかを思い出している。
Come on.
ベオの野生に刺激されたんだろう。獣はより強い獣に従うものだからな。
Stop. You don't have to do that. Stop. In a roundabout way, Toka had read Alice her last rites. Nature was calling for the weak that could no longer move to offer their bodies up to feed the strong.
じゃあ、私は行くよ。歩くことも満足にできないだろうが、無事に帰れるといいね、アリス。
With a twisted grin, the mage headed into the darkness. As her footsteps faded, the sound of growls grew louder. Alice could still barely focus her eyes. The hounds looked like monsters out of a picture book. Alice took a deep breath, her consciousness slipping away. The sky was blue. The trees were tall. The park was a graveyard. Corner of her eye, though, Alice could just about make out a solitary phone booth. The phone rang. The second time Soldier had heard its voice echo through the cold foyer. A few minutes had passed since Alice called. I wonder what she could want this time. Cole persisted, determined not to leave him to his thoughts.
はい、クオンジですが。
あら、その声は宗十郎くん？
Cherry voice. Soldier had been expecting Alice. It's Toka Aozaki. Somehow, Soldier was not surprised.
そうですけど、トウコさん、暇なんですか？
Checked the time. It was about midnight by now. No matter what the situation, Soldier always kept his cool. It took her trying to suppress a laugh. Taking a while to compose herself, start talking again.
ごめんなさい。ちょっとツボ入っちゃったみたい。で、質問の返しね。これがあんまり暇じゃないな。私も今日で終わらせる予定だから忙しいんだ。
偶然ですね。青崎もそんなことを言ってました。
やっぱりそうね。こういう時は本当に姉妹だなって思うわ。
Oh, come on.
昔からエンジンかけるタイミングだけは一緒だったから、あのことは。ところで、青崎はやめてって言ったでしょ。私も青崎だからくすぐったいのよね。そう言われるの。
Sojiro, come on, man. Sojiro realized she was probably right. Aosaki's words made more sense now.
まあそんなわけだから長話をする気はないんだ。担当直入に聞くけど。
It sounded like she was worried about her sister's whereabouts. The cool-headed soldier had not forgotten Toko was their enemy. Keeping Aoka and Alice in mind, he tried to be evasive.
さあ、なんて答えてほしいんですか、トウコさんとしては。
The question shifted the tone of the conversation drastically. She could hear Toko muttering to herself in annoyance. She was probably more quick-witted than she had anticipated. Change of tack was required.
そうね。君には何も答えてほしくないっていうのが正解かな。第一印象で君を無視するのは良くない気がしてたけど、やっぱり私は宗十郎君を手にかけたくはないみたい。君はこのまま無関係でいてちょうだいね。
Warning came from the heart. So he responded flatly, once again not giving any sign either way. Seems you want him to stay out of this too. And Soldier could tell the girls were being kind in their own way. But to ask for their kindness.
じゃあさよならね。私は君が思ってるほど暇じゃないから。でも最後に一つだけ。君を試すようで悪いんだけど、伝えておかないと一生恨まれそうだし。なんで、そうならないように、責任の半分を君に押し付けちゃおうかな。
Toko giggled. Laughter showed that she had him in the palm of her hand from the beginning.
さっきクオンジさんに会ってきたの。彼女から電話があったでしょ。
Her tone had not changed. She sounded as cordial as before. And so, as soon as Soldier heard Alice's name, a chill ran up his spine.
彼女、今ひどい状態なんだ。満足に歩けないどころか、体中の刻印が活性化して破裂寸前。宗十郎くんが骨折の痛みを知ってるなら、うまい例えようがあるんだけどね。まあ、ともかくだ。いつ気を失ってもおかしくない状態なんだけど、災難なことに怖い野犬に囲まれてるみたいなの。個人的な意見だけど、10分もあれば骨しか残らない結末になるでしょうね。
She spoke as if she was telling a joke. The joke was bad taste. However, Soldier knew this was anything but. She was telling the truth. He had not heard of dogs attacking anyone in town. The noise he heard while on the phone with Alice suddenly made sense. Dogs. A pack of them. Doubt about it. They were surrounding their prey. Had he not gotten on sooner? Squeezing the receiver in his hand, Soldier cursed himself. Alice had been calling for help. Backed into a corner. She had not wanted to involve Sojiro. Still, she needed help. She said his name was so lightly. He spoke abruptly. He knew Toko was the enemy. He was confident she would answer him. That was the reason she called.
教えてあげてもいいけど、そうした瞬間に、君は私の敵になるのよ。
He sort of realized what was happening. He was being tested. By ignoring Alice, he would be confirming that he did not want to get involved. But if he decided to save her,
それで場所は
that's what I thought. Sojiro ignored Toko's question. Of course, he was not prepared to become her enemy. He was even less prepared to let Alice die. Lost the ability to think sensibly. Not that he was particularly good about that to begin with. Still, not waste any time in deliberation. He would simply go with his instincts. One of the few times he had felt pride since coming down from the mountains.
ちょっと残念だな。私は本当に君が気に入ってたのに。まあ、こうなることは分かってたけどね。
Could you just... Where is she?
場所はヤシロギの森林公園。受話器の下に地図があるでしょ。この前帰りがけにしおりを挟んでおいたから、それを参考にすること。繰り返すようだけど、10分持てば幸運。その後は1分ごとに奇跡の価値が上がるような状況よ。今の彼女は。
Spread like the fucking wind, Sojiro. As he listened, his expression turned to one of irritation. Saki and Yasurogi were one station apart. It would take to get to the station from the mansion. She's just under 12 minutes. By the time he got off the train at Yasurogi, nearly 30 minutes would have passed.
地図の上じゃ近いのに、区画整理された交通手段は不便よね。けど、急げば最終の電車には間に合うわ。どっちにしたって、後悔のないようにね。
The line went dead. Sojiro, not Toko, had hung up the phone. Memorized the map and then made for the door. No time to grab his coat, he ran out into the snowy winter night with the clothes he had on. What remained in the hall was the discarded map. It showed Misaki Town. About 10 miles from the mansion to the nature park. 5 he went in a straight line. The streets were not that forgiving. importance on the map, but so much farther in reality. First time, Sojiro cursed the town. Bro, come on. Come on, Sojiro, please! Bro, come on. As the injuries were not limited to her abdomen. Wolf had punched a hole straight through her back, crushing her lower vertebrae, leaving both her legs paralyzed. The magic's crests for repairing the damage. It could take another hour before recovery. At the very least, her hard and slender arms still worked. Although, crawling on the ground to the phone booth, those too were failing her. As the crest healed her wounds, the searing heat ran through her body that threatened to overwhelm her. It's like if her body was no longer her own, and she was transforming into another creature. Poison throbbing through her open wounds hurt emotionally more than physically. She was used to pain. She could not accept this disquieting feeling. Yeah, and intention to. When she did it would be her last. I was wrestling with the discomfort from her abdomen and her magic crests. No conscious holding on by a thread, she took the phone in her hand. It's like Alka would let her pick up. Even so, with the stray dogs gathering around the booth, she had to try. Her Sojiro picked up. I just knew she was better off just hanging up. His name slipped out of her mouth. Pausing and fighting with herself for some time, an image of the innocent boy came to mind, and she hung up. Her instincts had won. She could not let him get involved. Not just because he was an innocent bystander. It was more than that. To Alice, something appeared that day because he was merely in the wrong place at the wrong time. The lightest of breaths passed her lips. Above her, the moon began to blur. Snow was falling again. So close, yet so far. The dogs began hurling themselves at the phone booth to the chorus of hungry snarls. She took one last deep breath and closed her eyes. Glass. An unusual material for a coffin. The girl knew, in some corner of her mind, she made the right choice not to ask the boy for help. Some time passed. Your sight came into view. A field of wild flowers. The clear sky was too blue. The flowers, so numerous that made the field look barren. The sight was so dazzlingly beautiful, she wished she could look away. This was probably all thanks to Father Winter. Cold wind carried the scent of a paradise far removed, untainted by man or beast. It's a glimpse of the fields beyond winter. One could be forgiven for thinking they were to the afterlife. To think of it, she remembered how funerals were sad and always beautiful. She cried. She made an incongruous whine, a sound of life. Her breathing was strained and erratic. Hollow and useless was the heart that she once used to fend off pain. It was as though she was in the space between disconnected body and mind. A crying woman and a silent child. High was the sky, deep was the forest, unmoving were the people. No footsteps or voices of salvation came. Who was that looking innocently up at the sky in the stillness? when she came to, Alice was going up a familiar hill. The cold night air had all but frozen her hands or feet. She shook, as she would expect from someone whose abdomen had been torn apart.
Shizuki.
How the fuck did he make it? How? She could barely comprehend that she was being carried slowly up. Shironi Yuzuka. Soldier had Alice on his back, was silently ascending the slope. How? Absolute denial. Yeah, I'm sure. Absolute. I knew she wouldn't die. Hell, I fucking knew it. Thank God. Oh, thank God for you, Sojiro. His calm eyes seemed to be suffering from a bitter cold. It seemed to be dressed for the time of year. Lava's and a little bit. Shut up! Now she's fine. She's gonna be fine. Even a coat. Its exposed neck and hands were ice cold.
どうしてここにいるの？
Alice asked, still slumped over his frame. She tried to move, but to no avail. Last thing she wanted was to rest her entire weight on someone else.
瞳子さんから電話があった。アリスが危ないって。青崎はともかく、アリスは意地を張りすぎだ。あの状況で助けを呼ばないのはどうかしてる。そりゃ、自分が言っても何もできなかっただろうけど。
Soldier spoke with a scolding tone. His eyes kept firmly ahead. His words were directed at himself rather than the girl on his back.
しずきくんは関係ないもの。
だろうね。けど、これで関係はできた。館に着いたら話してもらうぞ。
Soldier focused on climbing the hill. The slope would get steeper from here to the mansion. A soldier climbing the steep hill with her on his back surprised Alice.
降りるわ。もう大丈夫だから。
No.
お腹をむき出しでかい。この方が少しは暖かいよ。それに、アリスは薪より軽い。山じゃこの程度は朝飯前だから気にしないでくれ。息が上がっているのは公園まで急いだからだし。まあ、その意味はなかったんだが。
What?
なぜ？
Why? Why?
俺が着いたら、犬はさっさと散っていった。初めから瞳子さんはそういうつもりだったんだ。
But why?
アリスをどうにかするつもりもなければ、時間制限もなかった。喜ぶべきことなんだろうけど。
The dog had, like, no reasons to not keep fighting. What? Sora said dejectedly. But he was wrong. Toka did not want to kill Alice per se. Not have cared if she had died. At least that was the way Alice saw it. She didn't know how long it took Soldier to get to the park. If he had not come, the phone booth would have collapsed and she would be dead. Alice did her best to suppress her thoughts and feelings. She felt silly at the thought of correcting him. It would matter little anyway. The thought about trying to thank him was more painful than her open wounds.
もしかして公園からずっと。
仕方ないだろう。電車終わってたんだから。タクシーを使えばよかったんだけど、あいにく持ち合わせがなくて。ほんと、今日ほどお金の不便さを思い知った日はない。
For the first time today, Soldier let out a sigh. There's no point taking a break. We only traveled close to 6 miles like this. Perhaps the fatigue was getting to him. So he was more upset with his own weakness than the difficulty of the trek.
でもそれを言うならお金の大切さじゃない。
使えるものがあるのにお金がないだけで使えないんだから、それって不便って言わないか？
The innocence of his question made Alice briefly forget her pain. She, too, felt distant from the real world. Compared to the boy carrying her, she felt like a regular citizen.
何かあなたらしいわ。
Alice smiled to herself. As Alice rested her head, something soft touched her cheek. The collar Alco had given him.
館に着いたら着替えるんだ。お腹の血も拭って、落ち着いたら今で話そう。瞳子さんに言わせれば、俺もこれで敵らしいから。
Those words hanging in the air. Reached the top of the hill. Again the woods stood before them. Beyond it, illuminated by the pale moonlight, stood the mansion. Looking up at it, the girl felt a little disappointed. A natural reaction, yet she could not place where her sadness was coming from. Sent to the mansion, Alice slid off Sojo's back and walked toward the west wing. The west wing was her domain. However, after only a few steps, she collapsed to the floor.
アリス！
Someone rushed over to her, but she raised her hand. Gesture told him he was not to come closer. He stopped in his tracks, a certain look on his face. Her pale skin gleamed with sweat. Her expression uncharacteristically strained.
平気。部屋に戻るぐらいの力は戻ったわ。服を繕ってくるから、あなたはここにいて。すぐに戻ってくるから。そうしたら。
Pain look in Alice's eyes told Sojo they would talk later. He knew he could not stop her. He reminded himself that she was the one in pain, not him.
それじゃあ、戻ってきたら話を聞かせてくれ。
Alice took a deep breath, before slowly disappearing down the corridor. An uneventful 5 minutes passed. Alice returned wearing a fresh set of black clothes. Her complexion remained pallid. A small sigh, she carefully leaned against a pillar in the foyer, slid down it until she was sitting.
アリス、傷が痛むなら無理せず横になった方がいい。
Sojo sat across from her on the cold floor.
傷はもう痛まないわ。横になる必要もない。この体の異常は七かまどを飲まされたせいだから。
じゃあ、せめて毛布とか。
いいから、気遣いはしないで。ここなら寒さも関係ないから。
She seemed to be telling the truth. Sojo remembered Alco telling him that as long as Alice is inside the mansion, she would be comfortable.
あったかいのならいい。それで、七かまどっていうのは？
薬草の一種よ。7回かまどで焼いても燃え残ることから付けられた名前で、紅葉は魔除け。普通の人には良くない程度だけど、私や青子には少し厄介ね。体内での魔力生成そのものに抵抗されてしまうから、手の打ちようがない。
毒と思っていいのか？
I won't call it poison, but I mean, I guess, kinda?
いえ、本来は薬草よ。今は傷を治すために魔力を使っているから苦しいけど、傷が完治すればおとなしくなるわ。魔術さえ使わなければ七かまども反応しないから。単純な話、七かまどを消化するまで 私は役には立たないだけ。
Alice paused. She had to say how many days that would take.
別にしずきくんが心配することじゃないわ。こんなの血が流れる程度の痛みだから。
She tried hard to keep her tone calm. I could barely blink when she was struck in the back. So maybe it must have an unusually high pain threshold. So I was surprised and bewildered by what she said. If wounds didn't count as long as the pain wasn't too bad, then nothing will hurt except an injury that killed you.
わかった。話をするのは明日にしよう。今日はとにかく体を休めてほしい。
明日になっても私の容体は変わらないけど。
いいんだ、それでも。アリスはもっと体を大事にしてくれ。
He stood up.
部屋まで送るよ。それとも今で休むか？西館には入ったことはないから、アリスの部屋もわからないし。
ここでいいわ。青子を待たなくちゃいけないから。
Okay. Alice looked up at the skylight. Moonlight illuminated her pained face. Before it looked like it belonged to a rundown castle. The moon and Alice seemed more vivid than reality. Where did her strength come from? Sojo stared at her. Understand the significance of Alice's Without understanding the significance of Alice's gaze, he turned his gaze to the night sky, powerless as it was. For the third time that night, the silence was broken by the sound of the phone ringing. Before Soda could move, a faint shadow bolted across the foyer. Then we realized it was the weakened Alice. She had taken the receiver in her hand.
青子。
First time Soldier had heard Alice sound concerned. It was infinitely graver than when she was enduring her own pain. As the question received only a short response from the voice on the other end. It was a voice more frail than Alice's, the flickering flame about to turn to smoke.
ごめん、やられた。
The phone was far from Sojo's ears. The words he picked up were very unlike her. Despite saying so little, no, because she had said so little, the weight of Alco's defeat struck Sojo hard. Alice silently set the receiver down. Moments before, her body had been fighting the pain. Now it felt stronger than ever. It was like a scarecrow transforming into a beautiful stone statue. Seeing this, Sojo finally understood. Alice's expression when she looked at the moon had come from her trying to accept an immutable reality. Wow. Okay. What a fucking chapter. I assume there's nothing in the archive, right? No. How long is this next chapter? Depending on length. I also do want to like save it for tomorrow, because if I finish somehow end up like finishing it today, which I don't think we will, but if that magically happened, I would have anything tomorrow. So I assume we're like 80 to 85% there. Wow. Okay. Here we go. Jesus Christ, okay. Chapter 11. Witch on the Holy Night. 1. Alco had not hung up. The line remained silent. I set down the receiver. Leah put on her mantle and made for the entrance, moving her injured body by sheer willpower alone. Along the way, she paused, turned to Sojiro, and looked directly at him.
青子に何かあったんだな。
As hesitated for a moment, before pushing aside her anxiety and grabbing his hand.
しずきくん、一緒に来て。
I figured. He's
待っ
involved.
てくれ。一緒にってどこに？
He's involved. There's no reason to try to not have him engage.
間教会まで。青子の方は営利神父にお願いするしかないから。
間教会って病院の横にある？
そう。知っているのなら問題ないわね。説明する手間も省けたわ。
Okay. Okay, why are we going to the church, bro? Let's left the mansion and made her way down the tree-lined path. She was clearly determined. The look in her eyes betrayed her pain.
アリス、連絡をするなら電話は？
So I asked Alice, whose grip on his hand was light but unyielding.
教会の人にならもう知らせた。もしかして病院のことを言っているなら、それこそ無駄よ。ハイヤーなんて言うけど、空を飛ぶわけでもないし。今は助けを呼ぶより、助けに行かないと間に合わない。
Yeah. Alice had thought of everything. Turned to the mansion and lightly snapped her fingers. Response, a window opened and countless starlings took flight.
1番隊は索敵。2番隊と3番隊は現場に向かって応急処置を。在庫切れになってもいいわ。
What the hell?
まだ生きているなら、青子の心臓を止めないで。
Alice commanded the birds
し
firmly.
ずきくんは裏庭から青子の自転車を持ってきて。
Sora let slip his discomfort at the thought of that thing. The custom-made red motorcycle. Or bicycle. I don't know why red motor. He was cleaning the incinerator. I could verbally assaulted him for never scratching it.
いいけど、どうするつもりなんだ、アリスは。
ここにいるより、教会にいた方がしずきくんは安全よ。それに、私も急がないといけない。しずきくん、二人乗りできる？
Sora had seen people riding tandem and was confident he could imitate them. He still wasn't quite certain he could trust a bicycle with his life. Moreover, its frame was so light, he was unsure it could support both their weights.
二人乗りってことは、アリスが後ろに乗るのか？
Well, yeah.
できないなら、いいわ。
Let's turned away as if to snub him. I began walking. Unfortunately for Sojiro, he was now on our bad side.
いや、そういう意味じゃないんだ。アリスとはイメージが合わなかったから。
When he was pleased, she could turn briskly toward the woods. There's no way she was going to ride a bike now. Turning her stubborn streak, he desperately called out to her.
待った、今のはこっちが悪かった。すぐに持ってくるから、怒るのはつけにしておいてくれ。
Yeah, bro, we'll go, damn! Alice stopped. As soon as he saw her stop, he hurried to the rear courtyard. Grabbed the key from where it was hanging, and used to unlock Aoko's bicycle. By the time Soldier brought it back to the front of the mansion, Alice was continuing toward the forest.
アリスの性格、なんとなくつかめてきたな。
Really? Wondered to himself, he straddled the bike. Rested his foot on the pedal. It felt light, but sturdy. Confident the bike could support his weight, and Alice's. He began pedaling.
アリス、
She turned as he called out to her. He was shooting him a piercing glare.
行こう。後ろの荷台に乗ってくれ。でもクッションがないから痛いと思う。辛かったら言ってくれ。止めるから。
私は大丈夫よ。しずきくんが嫌じゃなければの話だけど。
He hit the nail on the head. Alice definitely had a grudge over the smallest things.
そういうことなら問題ないよ。 アリスが後ろにいてくれるのは嬉しい。それで行き先は間境界でいいんだな。
Shouldn't be too far. Unabashed and undaunted, he plowed on. His tone seemed to ease Alice's mood. She nodded calmly and took a seat on the luggage rack above the rear tire.
手を回すけど、私が触れても平気。
No, he's not like Hisui. So no. Go ahead.
ん？大丈夫だよ。体力があるのはさっき証明しただろ。
Plus, that's not quite what she meant, Sojiro, but okay. Asana wrapped her arms around Sojiro. She held on tightly enough to grip the handlebars.
よかった。
He said quietly.
何が良かったの？
So returned to her, ambiguous expression on his face, then began pedaling vigorously. They go off the brakes and the bicycle hurtled down Shiranozuka's steep incline. Surprised by his sudden speed, Alice gasped, clutched Sojiro tighter. Was she about to yell? She almost protested, just when she saw the serious expression on Sojiro's face. Instead, she decided to tighten her grip. To the night sky, the young girl had put her faith in a young boy. Ominous red lights. Faster than a roller coaster, the bicycle hurled toward Misaki Station. At the station, there was no sign of cars or people. The town slept under its snowy blanket. Two people were racing like the wind. While he pedaled, the boy said,
本当によかった。二人乗りが思ったより簡単で。
He was alone in his relief. It's their first bicycle ride together, and they spent speeding down an empty highway. The boy's words were lost to the howling wind, fortunately. Despite the late hour, there were still lights on in the church. Originally, the light at this time of night came from the entrance to the sleepless hospital. They were vigilant and ready to receive patients. However, this was a quiet town with little nightlife. The hospital saw perhaps one emergency patient per night. However, it was not equipped to handle tonight's sole patient. Before 1 o'clock in the morning, in the bicycle outside, the two headed into the church. With snow-covered roof, it just looked like it was wearing a white hat that lit up the darkness. Near there stood a tall shadow.
クオンジさん。
Who the hell are you? The man's voice was placid. Dressed in a long coat, he had been waiting for Alice.
エイリ神父、青子は？
Avery, okay.
ユイカが見ています。私が駆けつけた時には手遅れでした。
Okay, so she's
青
fine.
崎の家に伝令を願いたいのですが。
青子はそれを望まないわ。それに、あちらも今は城に囚われているそうです。今夜の相手は、真っ先に青子の祖父の動きを封じたようですから。
Damn, bro. Toku went against the whole fucking family? Jesus, bro. Bro, why? Two exchanged pleasantries. Someone did not move from the foot of the stairs.
おや、そちらは。
With Sojiro, Suzuki. Anyway, the father seemed calm. His words had an edge to them. I am so sorry. I slapped the shit out of the microphone and that probably made a horrible sound. As to protect Sojiro from his gaze, let's step between them. Yo?
彼は青子の使い魔。契約はまだなされていないけれど。
Just to quickly get out of the way.
使い魔ってアリス。
So I was about to complain, but Alice shot him a fiery glare. All that but said, just shut up and play along.
そうですか。そのような申告はありませんでしたが、届けが遅れたのは不問としましょう。外部の魔術師と交戦中でしたからね。あなたたちはその撃退を最優先にした。ということで。
Yeah. That's none than thanks.
では通ります。彼の同行を許可しなさい。
ご自由に。 私はこれより朝廷に向かいます。管理者が変わるのなら、両教会への資料を用意しなければいけませんので。ああ、留守中は律香に任せてありますから、必要なものがあれば彼女に。
Makes sense. As if passing the baton, Father Ari exited the church. So it took 2 full steps back to give him a wide berth. Please not now, Sojiro. Priest had a dignified air about him. Put bluntly, he was strikingly beautiful. Straight nose, glistening lips, a single imperfection on his mildly effeminate face. I went as far as his appearance. His manner lacked any hint of softness or grace. But looking at him, you could tell he was dependable, like a tempered steel, despite being somewhat unapproachable. The priest disappeared silently into the night, turns of his coat overpowering the moonlight. In awe, Sojo watched him leave.
なんか仙人みたいな人だな。
Yeah. In his own way, Sojo was expressing affection. For some reason, Father Aries' distant tone made him feel nostalgic. His eyes gave Sojo a deathly stare.
気を許さないで。彼は教会の人間よ。
And we all have learned the church equals bad.
私たちを監視する側だけど、今回は彼の手を借りるしかなかっただけ。許されるなら、真っ先に消えてほしい人間だから。
Yep. A curse ringing in the air. Let's place her hand on the doors to the chapel. They were twice her height, and who knows how heavy. Well, she could open them at any time soon. So I climbed the stairs 3 at a time and helped Alice push the towering doors inward. The dim light of the chapel brought with it the familiar scent of burning oil. The escalation on the interior was breathtaking. The tall ceiling, stained glass windows on every wall, were intended to illustrate the presence of the Holy Spirit within those chambers. But the foyer in the Kwanji estate, not a single heater. The bitter cold made the chapel feel more severe.
あっちゃん、こっちよ。
Ah! What was your name again? Oh my god, Miss Hannah Southern. Her voice echoed through the chapel, incongruous to its surroundings. It was the voice of a woman.
リスカさん、奥。
Let's made her way past the rows of pews toward the front altar. She closed the large doors and hurried after her.
早かったわね。これから迎えに行こうと思ったのに。
Hey!
使える足があったから。後ろの彼。足って。あれ、あなた。
Yeah, we meet again, don't we? Someone showed himself. Surprising the woman. They stared intently at each other. I wonder what the other was doing here.
知り合い。
I love this Alice expression, bro. It's like, what? Huh?
ああ、うん。まずいことに知り合い。
Well.
宗十郎さん、引っ越したって話だけど、もしかしてあっちゃんのところに下宿してるの？
Yeah. Jojo nodded. Let's try and visit with Sarah at this unexpected development.
どういうこと？しずきくん、律香さんとはどういう関係？関係って。
We helped clean the church. Sorry, we helped clean the church.
お魚屋さんでしょっちゅう割引してもらったり。
That too.
荷物持ちを頼んでみたり。
Yeah.
たまにお茶飲んだりする主婦の友みたいな。
Basically.
意味がわかりません。律香さん結婚していないでしょ。
Uh-huh. Needless to say, Sora was also not a housewife's best friend. Well, that's just it. There were more urgent matters at hand.
うわ、そこを突っ込むのか。あっちゃん、私にだけは一切妥協がないのはどうかと思うの。 律香さんの場合、どこまで本気かわからないから。おかしなところは全部追求しておかないといけないだけよ。
True.
あら素敵。仲のいい姉妹みたいね、私たち。
Probably. I don't know.
じゃあその信頼に応えて本当のこと言うと、彼とは町内会の顔見知りよ。スパイ行為とかそういうんじゃないし、そもそもそんな器用な人じゃないでしょ、宗十郎さんは。
Yeah.
本当？
Yes. This is true. I just started straight at Sojiro. To let him know she was mad at him for hiding this from her.
本当だ。魚屋でバイトしてる時に知り合った人だ。前に親切にしてもらったんで、お礼にイワシを一匹サービスしたら、それ以来ごひいきに。
She's so jealous. Yeah, Alice, you're jealous.
そうそう。商店街で買い物してれば、嫌でも宗十郎さんとは顔見知りになるわ。
Of course, who doesn't know Sojiro downtown, man?
あっちゃんも怒るぐらいなら買い物に来ればいいのに。密かな商店街のアイドルです、彼。
The secret stud, damn.
アイドルとは人気者という意味で、値切りやすいかもって意味じゃないような。
Yeah, obviously. He's trying to sell you stuff, so, you know. His apparent popularity would have to be questioned another time. Collecting herself, Alice focused on the door in the recesses of the church.
律香さんの事情は知りませんが、彼は青子の連れです。その他に説明はいりますか？
What do you mean by without, huh?
ああ、やっぱりそういうことなのね。ま、言いたいことはいろいろあるけど、今はそれどころじゃないし。
Yeah.
ええ、了解したわ。他ならぬあっちゃんの頼みだし、特殊な例だけど、彼はこちらで保護しましょう。
So, Rich, can I assume you're gonna read the extra story that came with the limited edition? There was no limited edition on Steam. So, what? Limited edition? It's on the internet? Well, okay. But yeah, if there's more Mahoyo to read after we're done with this, or after we're done with the game, yeah, of course I'll read it then. Hell yeah. Let's nod him and again walk into the door.
アリス、
ダメよ、宗十郎さん。
Okay. Somebody was about to follow Alice. Once he got stepped in his way.
あなたは言ってはいけません。彼女たちに任せなさい。
Yeah. She asserted bluntly. Meanwhile, as I reached the door and entered through into the chapel.
言ってはいけないって。どうして？
Well, you're not magic, so.
あなたのためよ。青子の容体は普通の人が見ていいものじゃない。気分を悪くするだけ。
Oh, Jesus.
それとも嫌な思いをしてもいいくらい青子が心配なのかしら。
Soda was not able to give an immediate answer. It finally hit him just how bad a state Alco must be in. It's not Alice's condition when he found her. He insinuated that Alco's injuries might be even worse. I could imagine her expression in that state, but could not.
青崎相手に心配なんかしません。
Exactly. She really makes out okay, so. Literally. He had never been worried about it before. Not truly.
でも会いに行くのね。
はい。
He answered her reflectively. Mitsuka sighed at the boy's naivety. Nonetheless stepped aside. Yeah, but like game, think about the fact I don't want to see that.
どうぞ行ってらっしゃい。
But Mahoyo, did you consider the fact that I don't want to see that?
アリスさんが使ったドアから入って4番目の部屋よ。今一番取り込んでる頃だから、ゆいちゃんの邪魔だけはしないように。
Toda thanked her and went after Alice. Leaving Ritsuka Suze, self-proclaimed everybody's friend and neighbor, alone. Wait, didn't she say her name was like, well, what she said was sort of Miss Hanazawa? So she lied. But why? Why lie? I guess assuming Soldier was like a spy or something for the church, against the church.
さて、ユイカあたりなら止めるんでしょうけど、ま、私は宗十郎さんの味方だし、傷つく男の子とか大好物だし。
I seen she looked at the flower before answering. Flower, yeah, I know what flower means, Hana, yeah. So she just said, "Oh, flower Hanazawa, Miss Hanazawa, call me that." Like, why would you lie, bro? Well, why?
少々スパルタと自覚しておりますが、これも親切な姉心と思って、宗十郎さんには後悔していただきましょう。
You know what? Good point. Ritsuka, you make a good point. Let him learn. Let him learn from experience. She spoke with force, but her words echoed aimlessly around the chapel. With a sigh, she shrugged her shoulders and made the sign of the cross in a rather dubious manner. That sort of footsteps grew fainter. This lack of hesitation had left a pain in her heart. Not because he didn't look back at her, but because he was choosing to ignore the primal fear inside him. An elderly man once said, "An animal's death and a human's are two different things. You may think they are the same. They differ to their core. Our heads have known the difference since the dawn of man. An animal's corpse, be it a pig's or a deer's, is different. If the swing of an axe or a machete is violent, then so must a human corpse be. Therefore, before you see one with your own eyes, you should at least understand it with your ears. Listen closely, Sojiro. When a person dies, blood flows like a crimson river. It's too much to bear." Perhaps because he was not used to the stone path beneath his feet, Sora's mind wandered back to the words he'd heard as a child. That's a lot of red on screen. Instantly opened the door. There's a palpable change in the air. The room was small. Only a simple bed and a small wooden dresser. There on the bed, Haruka was lying on her side. Turning to her was the woman he'd just seen in the chapel, Ritsuka. What? No. She looked a lot like her. Her eyes were closed, and her garments covered in blood. He had met her maybe once before. Yuka Suze, not at the church. She's doing something to Aoko. What the fuck? Twins. Oh. What the fuck? Yuka held a pair of scissors and some thread. Her hands moved delicately yet quickly, so playing an organ. Movements were precise, as if flawlessly reading sheet music. One by one, the supply of bandages diminished. Bandages recently applied to the wounds were quickly replaced with fresh ones. Gauze were placed everywhere to try and cope with the amount of blood. Once white cloth was now dyed red and discarded. The dressing scattered around the floor resembled roses. Built a rose garden, none played her organ. The scene looked unlike any reality Sojiro knew. It's clear why the air had changed. There was a savage odor in the room. Even though he was experiencing it for the first time, he knew what it was. The smell burned his lungs. He couldn't bring himself to look at the bed. Fighting his feelings, his eyes refused to move there. There was Alice next to the bed. Never expressionless. She looked like a statue next to a grave. Except she was trembling ever so slightly. It could have been from fear, anxiety, rage, or a combination of the three. Before her lay a life on the verge of death. I don't need to see anymore. Frankly, game, I don't need you teasing me anymore. Thank you. But whose life? It's difficult to tell with only a glance. Some sort of puppet covered in bandages, perhaps. Her hair should be beautiful. It fell flat, disheveled. It's one of her short breaths. Her chest convulsed, up, down, down. Fictitious though the thought was, sort of recalled the rodeo machine on the roof of the department store. Ah, the painkillers Anastasia could not have been working. Her bandages were soaked in crimson in seconds. Her fingernails bit into the sheets. Face twisted in agony. Anastasia would not be enough. So if she was still alive, she must be conscious too. Wonder that no one seemed concerned about this. In this state, she would sure lose her mind before her life. In short, the boy never wanted to see anything like this ever again. I'm sorry, but why'd you come in on them? Bed sheets should be white, not red. Every blink, the color deepened. She would have finally forced to accept that the bleeding mess in the center of it was her. He felt the blood surging in his veins. Squeaking of the bed, snippet of the scissors, gasps of agony, it all faded. All he could hear was his own pounding heartbeat. That's so... I know it's just bandages, but... Smell of the blood she choked up sent a wave of nausea through him. His knees abandoned him. Oh, Jesus. It's perfectly understandable. His brain had to shut his consciousness off to protect itself. Mine could only take so much reality. I would give anything to never see something like that again.
そうか。青子ちゃんは全部わかっているんだね。自分だけのことじゃなくて、この後に起きることも、何が残って何が残らないのかも、全部まっすぐに受け止めている。それでも自分であり続けられるということは、とても強いことなんだよ。
What? And on she went. I liked her smile. She just had to go and say the one thing I wish she hadn't. Last day of middle school seemed so long ago. As the premature blossom petals danced around, my little dream was crushed. I never really considered myself strong. At least, until I began to remember those words from time to time.
青崎は分かってると思ってた。いや、きっと分かってるんだな。だから、そこが強いんだろうね。
Lately, an idiot who said things like that appeared in my life. I always judge people more harshly than those around me. But to have someone I'd only known for a few days point that out was like a stab in the chest. Not only that, the words sounded so similar. It made me so angry I couldn't see straight. Only him and one other person have ever said anything like that to me. And again, I suppose my sister said the same thing without actually saying. You're different from us. But me being me, I took it as a curse rather than a compliment. My actions, my choices, my morals, all the good and bad I've done, all said and done, am I really any better than anyone else? Of course I am. I never sacrificed myself for those around me. They just had to call me strong, true to myself, in spite of how alone, stubborn, ridiculous I know I can be. When I was younger, it would confuse me. I mean, No any other way. I am who I am. The frustrating fact is, I simply don't have the courage to give up. So why? Why do I get treated special for doing what comes naturally? The sunlight stirred her. Maybe it was the pain from having her whole body held together by arcane threads. Ako felt like she had a silly dream. She gulped air for her painful parched throat. Gray rays of light shone through a small window, bringing her back to reality. Not to bear it, I could attempt to roll over, except she could only move her right arm. Lifting her arm, but couldn't feel anything past her elbow. She stopped concentrating on her bandaged arm, fell to the bed like a stone. Eva took in her surroundings, moving only her eyes. Evidently, she had been asleep in this bed. Not to feel certain parts of her body, she felt like a robot. It was tiny and undecorated. It's like an apartment without a tenant. That's not a good repair. She guessed that she was in either church. Outside, it seemed closer to noon than morning. Clouds filled the sky as usual, dulling the sun's rays. Idly, she thought that it could be enough to melt the snow outside. And then finally, she noticed the figure of a girl. Next to her bed, Alice Quandra was sitting in a chair, unmoving. She called out to her, all too casually. It was more difficult to talk than she thought. Alice was her typical stoic self. Aka did notice a glimpse of concern in her eyes. You look fucking worse for wear, don't you? You look like shit, frankly.
努力はしたわ。けど、瞳子さんに飲まされたものが解毒されるまで眠れそうにないの。
I mean, I suppose she could have looked worse.
半端な痛みは、こういう時に生ぬるいわね。
I'm surprised you even made a joke like that. What the hell? Or said something like that. Sounds uncharacteristically vulgar comment held Alka feel a little more like her usual self. Yeah, that was extremely vulgar, Alice. What the hell? She felt reassured having a comrade in arms by her side instead of a concerned neighbor.
そう、アリスもやられたの。
Yeah, you both got beat up pretty bad.
状況は大体予想してるけど、一応細部を聞かせてくれない？
Well, she had some almighty golden beast that absolutely fucking wrecked. Aqua remained horizontal as she spoke with a cold tone. Aqua's condition, Alice granted her request. After all, they had known each other for 2 years. There's no exactly the kind of Anastasia Aqua was like needed right now. As Quanji's battle with Toka Aozaki ended in the former's victory. The famous troll was a special familiar even among fairy tale monsters. Unlike the incredible reality warping abilities of Flat Snark, its sheer mass, durability, and strength were second to none. Toko's rune magic was rendered completely ineffective by its stone armor. In all fairness to Toko, most mages would not stand a chance against the bridge giant. The reason lay in the mystic's body. As a general law of magecraft, a mystic will lose to a stronger, older mystic. The history of the bridge giant dated back well over 1,000 years. Its origins could be traced to the 1st century when Britannia was conquered by the Romans. Conversely, despite having roots dating back to the Age of Gods, runes had unfortunately been lost to time. Rune Magecraft was little more than an attempt to revive and use a dead art. However, monsters from fairy tales, like the troll, were different. They lived on in the hands of Alice Kuwanji. The magical world was vast. One could probably count on one hand the number of magecraft that still function after being chanted into existence a millennia ago, as Alice's ploys did. In contrast, Toko, the rune user, was only about 2 decades old. Carving a rune took only a moment. There was no way a quick spell could defeat the personification of the London Bridge in Alice's homeland. That being said, the beast had a power that surpassed even those from fairy tales. Beowulf, the Golden Beast. It seemed absurd to compare a small and relatively powerless wolf to a towering stone giant. The Famas troll's attacks were earthquaking. Right hit from its 50-ton strikes would smash anyone to paste. One glancing blow would still create mincemeat. And yet, the beast had attacked head-on and torn right through it. The wolf's fur bristled. The creature metamorphed like liquid. It was a breathtaking display. Wolf howled the moon, as if in joy, and streaked forth like a bolt of golden light. In an instant, the duel was decided. The radiant spear of a wolf flew straight through the giant's chest and sank its teeth into its heart. The troll exploded. Well, if Toko ever made it into FGO, I know what our noble phantasm would be. Beowulf. Chunks of stony muscle rained down. Even his fur scattered in the wind. Two mystics dispersed, not a trace. Returned from whence they came. Couldn't find the battle straight out of mythology. Among the rubble of the fairy tale monster. It's the golden wolf, standing like a flame. What came after could barely be described as a battle. More like the slaughter of the defeated pawns. Wolf leapt on Alice, bounding her with ease. Claws cut through her the protective wards on Alice's coat like a hot knife through butter. Golden wolf. This wolf, which understood human speech, could only be in a magical creature known as the werewolf. Werewolves were the forest people of Western Europe, origins far more ancient than the fabricated vampire legends of the continent. However, none were known to have golden coats. Said the most elite werewolf bloodlines boasted silver fur. Silver werewolves were pack leaders. Werewolves of that caliber were considered phantasmal, rather than merely magical creatures. But golden werewolf was superior even to that, and so transcended human knowledge. Alice Kwanji's ploys were among the ultimate mystics to have been created by humankind. Therefore, golden wolf could only have been a mystic born of the planet. The celestial body has been activated for millions, billions of years. Occasionally, a miraculous droplet of creation spills over into our current world. This mystic had to be over 3,000 years old. A human mage. No. Any mage living in the current magical paradigm would be helpless against the golden wolf. Even in theory, they'd take a chance of defeating it. Which meant that this werewolf was Alcon Alice's worst nightmare. So it's like So it's like a true ancestor, basically, born of the earth, born of the planet. That's so interesting. I wonder why, though. Like, was it just by accident that it was born into the world? Like, the true ancestors had a purpose, and that's to be the planet's protection. Not humanity, obviously, but just the planet. So I assume the wolf was just an accident or something.
アリスがお手上げの相手だものね。私がどうにかできるはずもなかったわけだ。でも、要は魔術でなければいいのよね。
So you can punch it.
テムズの動力は魔力だけど、 テムズのパンチは純粋な衝撃でしょ。当たりさえすればぺしゃんこじゃないの。
Yeah,
残念だけど、
but it's not that simple.
あれ基本は狼の姿なだけで状況によって形を変えるわ。テムズの腕を受け止めた時は大猿みたいになっていたし。
What? So werewolves in this universe or in the Nasuverse are not the werewolves of, like, that we all are accustomed to, like man at day, wolf at night. So the wolf can transform into any creature? What?
機関銃やロケットで狙ってもかわされるか体の硬い生き物に変化して防ぐんじゃないかしら。
Assuming he can transform into anything that's born of the planet.
地球上の生き物なら何にでも変われるってこと
Yeah,
か。
any living creature of the planet.
でもまあ質量までは無理かな。
I mean, if he turns to a giant ape, or I guess Uzaru, as they said, I assume his mass changes.
基本は2メートル台の生物のいいとこ取りってあたりで勘弁してほしいわね。ねえ、すごく関係ないけど、深海の生き物に変わられたらちょっと怖いと思わない？
It would be. Akko narrowed her eyes as she bemoaned this creature's existence. The conversation appeared to have revived her fighting spirit. Once again, her eyes were focused and her thoughts clear. Akko was back to her usual self.
で、その後はアリスうまく逃げられたの？
Yeah, that's when Sojo got involved?
いいえ、私もあの狼にやられたわ。
As explained how the wolf had pinned her to the ground. Incidentally, she kept the part about Soldier rather short. As herself was not entirely sure why she felt it necessary to leave the most of that information out.
アリスの相手をした後、休む間もなく私のところに来たわけか。初めから昨日で決着をつけるつもりだったんだ、兄貴。姉妹かな。ここぞって時のタイミングは一緒だったの忘れてた。切り札は見せたからには敵を殲滅しなくちゃいけない。
Yep.
姉貴は視点を残り2つにしておいて、自分の正体を告げてこっちの戦力を分けさせた。その時点で奥の手を投入してくることは覚悟してたけど、まさか人狼なんて極物とはね。
So thank God you didn't go to the same location, or else you both would have been taken out. I could let out a heavy sigh. That's not slightly an agreement.
それはそれとして、宗十郎がアリスを助けに行くなんてね。感謝しなくちゃいけないんだろうけど、バカな真似してくれたわ。
Yeah, but he's our idiot.
私が東子の立場なら、報復の可能性は一つ残らず排除する。私たちがどうにかなった後、猫の手首ひねるみたいに片付けられるわよ、あいつ。
しずきくんならこちらで保護してもらってるけど。
Akko's eyes widened.
うわ、どういう風の吹き回し？アリスがあいつの世話を焼くなんて。
Hey, don't push it.
だって放っておいたら青子が怒ると思って。
Exactly, wouldn't you get angry now? Alice responded with her eyes closed. Akko frowned in silent indignation. She wanted to protest where Alice got that idea from.
まあいいけど、それじゃあ今ここにいるんだ、宗十郎。姿が見えないけどどうしたの？
Still unable to move her neck, she looked around as best she could.
彼なら気分を悪くして倒れたわ。今はエイリ神父の寝室を借りているけど。
Akko furrowed a brow at collapsed. Sure, he's under the church's protection, but Toka set the wheels in motion for his death?
何があったの？一体。
He saw you. Alice paused for a moment before carefully answering the question.
それが彼、あなたを見て嘔吐したの。
She had decided to be blunt. Akko was taken aback. For several seconds, dim sunlight leaked through the window. When she had found her voice again, she muttered,
いいけど、ひどい侮辱よね、それって。
Did you see the state you were in? I wouldn't blame him. I'd do the same, probably. Perhaps amused, or perhaps exhausted from staying up all night. Let's crack a tiny giggle.
何よ。そんなにおかしい、アリス。
さあ、どうかしらね。けど、しずきくんにも言い分はあるでしょう。今のあなた、とても見られたものじゃないわ。
Akko appraised her physical state. She was dressed in a hospital gown. Bandages covered the majority of her body. Her right leg was in a plaster cast. She couldn't move her right arm. She put her hand bandaged fingers up to her throat.
そっか、思い出した。あのガキ、まず私の首元に噛みついたんだっけ。
What, the wolf?
すごかったわよ、首が噛み砕かれるのって。ゴキーンって音が頭の中に響いて、気持ち悪いったらなかったわ。
How the fuck did you survive?
ち、あそこから好き勝手やられたもんだから、つい忘れてた。
It sounded upbeat, but the look in her eyes was anything but. She had been torn to pieces. Her life had been mercifully spared. At least she hadn't been dismembered. Bitten, beaten, and her bones broken. Magic crest containing the Aozaki secret arts decorated her body. Even if her spine was broken, once her body was alive, the crest would piece it back together. Despite the crest easing the pain a little, it still hurt enough to want to kill that wolf 100 times over.
視点は全部壊された。これで三崎市の霊脈はフリーってわけね。全容を把握してるのはうちらだけの特権だったけど、東子は昔から知ってる以上、解析の手間もいらないと。
Shit.
真剣な話、所有権の書き換えまで何時間かかると思う？
東子さんなら2日かからないでしょうね。
So we have about a day.
支店の修復は土地そのものに任せるしかない。支店のプロテクトが治る頃には、この町はもう彼女のものよ。
明日の夜明けとともに破産する我が身とはね。それでアリスの方はどうなの？まだいける？
思考魔術だけなら少しは。あとは小道具に頼ることになるでしょうね。
Yeah, no magecraft or else you go boom. And I'd rather avoid that.
ああ、お話にならないか。
I'll go in silent again, staring straight at the ceiling. I listened all too well what that look meant.
それでもやるんでしょ、青子は。
What? Yeah?
まあね、私諦めるのってできないから。で、そういうアリスはどうなのよ？
私は一度自分のものになったものは決して人には渡さない。
Mm-hmm. I got muddled in agreement to Alice's terse response. Alice's intense attachment to her possessions was enough to make Aoko even shiver. Or even Aoko shiver. When something is mine, it stays mine. To take it a step further, betrayal was an unforgivable sin. This personal motto was further proof of her uncompromising nature.
オッケー、決まりね。じゃ、悪いけどもう少し休ませて。今晩までには何とか動けるようにするから。
Tonight, if the nun who stitched her back together had heard that, she would have fainted. Micah could barely even eat in her current condition. Even so, Alice nodded and stood up. As partner, she knew that once her mind was made up, she had to trust her. Silently, the girl in black began to take her leave. Sound her from the door, hand to her mouth.
アリス？
I was curious, expecting that Alice had something silly to say again. Quite the contrary. Instead of blushing, Alice frowned her brow. She was thinking over a difficult riddle.
アリス？
Ako called out. Alice remained with her back to her roommate.
なんで間に合ったのかしら。
I don't know. It's because of the words that accidentally burst out from her thoughts. That's question was about something Alco could not possibly have guessed.
あの時もそう。私たち始発で帰ってきたのに。
She carried on mumbling at the door. To find an answer, Alice gloomily put her hand on the doorknob.
言いたくないなら別にいいけど。何がどうしたっていうのよ、アリス。
Nothing important. Alice did not respond. She opened the door to leave the room and left a few words hanging in the air.
どうでもいいことだけど、ゆいかさんにはしずきくんは見えなかったそうよ、青子。
The door closed with a thud.
そりゃまた珍しい。
She mumbled to herself from her bed, seeming slightly happier. Blind since birth, Yukasuya saw the world through other senses. She was especially sensitive to enemies or those who bore ill will, and typically viewed almost everyone as a threat, simply because that was the easiest thing to pick up on. So when she said she couldn't see Sojiro, that meant he was completely harmless. That sounds about right. It's Sojiro, but what could he do? And then, that harmless individual decided to pay the small sick room a visit. It looked like a stiff breeze could knock him over. It made Alco wonder who the real patient was.
何しに来たの、あんた。
Alco could barely move. She was still giving him the cold shoulder. His expression gaunt, Sojiro grunted something or other before beginning to speak more coherently.
アリスが客間で眠ったから礼拝堂にいたんだけど、人が集まりだしたんで、こっちに逃げてきた。
あ、礼拝の時間か。クリスマスだってのによくやるわ。
Yay! Christmas! Woo! It was indeed Christmas, but regular Mass was on Christmas Eve. The ones gathering in the chapel must have been truly devout followers. Tourists were rare in Misaki, after all. So much so that almost no one visited the area this time of year. The worshippers must have been locals.
それで別にどうってことないでしょ。探せば顔見知りもいるんじゃない？
Michael was as distant as ever. Clay had not forgotten the fact that he vomited when he saw her. A hint of spite leaked into her voice. Then again.
いや、ちょうどいい機会だから、いろいろと聞きたくなって。
Like, huh?
少し話をしていいかな。
Alec was always in a bad mood, so did not pick up on anything out of the ordinary. She took the time to go drink some water because he looked ready to collapse, but he didn't seem aware of his own condition. And to be fair to him, Alice did say Alco was in a bad shape. Given how unaccustomed to blood Soldier was, it was no wonder that he fainted.
ああ、そうか。話なんてまだ無理だな。すまない。出直してくる。
No. Soldier seemed to have misunderstood Alco being in deep thought as not having enough stamina to speak. Naturally, this did not sit well with Alco.
待ちなさいよ。話だけなら別に構わないわ。やる気持て余してるし、暇つぶしがてらに相手してあげるわよ。
Yeah.
ま、退屈しのぎにしてはちょっとグレード下がるけど、この際贅沢言ってられないし。
Damn. Soldier sensed this was going to be rough, but took a seat on the chair next to the bed.
何が聞きたいの？
Soldier spoke energetically in an attempt to distract from her weakened appearance. Naturally, she knew she was fooling no one.
やっぱり青崎は強いな。安心した。
Soldier said, nodding in admiration. The shot an unimpressed look in response to the unwanted praise. Anyway.
あんたってほんと間が悪いわ。
Yeah.
いいわよ、別に。私の夢の話だから、そっちが気に病むことは。
She glowered, remembering. To think of it, almost everyone in her dream was here in the church, turning her dour expression into an irritated one.
やめやめ、こんなつまんない話。聞きたいことがあるなら手っ取り早く済ませちゃってよ。
Let's hear it.
よかった。じゃあまず今の状況を聞かせてくれないか。東子さんの話じゃ俺も無関係じゃないそうだし。
She really spoke calmly. I could wonder if he really understood the gravity of the situation. He was Togo's enemy now. He was defenseless and needed protection. Neither Alco nor Alice could help him. The church could withdraw the sanctuary at any moment. He had picked a side, and that had turned him from innocent bystander into target. The answer he saw was as simple as that. He knew the facts. He was not a mage and was therefore powerless.
まあ、それでもアリスは助けられたわけだし。
Yes. I did owe him for that. To say thanks, he's had to at least give him the whole story up until now.
よし、今までの経緯も含めて軽く説明してみましょうか。私も何か得るものがあるかもしれないし。
We're not going through all of it, are we? Compose yourself before beginning her explanation. Battle began at the end of November. A lot happened since then, including meeting Sojiro.
事の起こりは1ヶ月前。
We're not actually gonna recap, are we?
三崎市に貼られた結界の端っこが何者かに消されたのが発端だった。私が跡継ぎになってから5度目の三崎市を狙う敵の登場ってわけ。今回の敵は私たちとは直接戦わず、まず土地を奪うところから始めたわ。今までのやつは私たちを半人前と舐めていたから、大抵は真正面から仕掛けてきて、勝手にアリスの猟犬の餌食になったんだけど、まあそれはどうでもいいとして。町の結界には2種類あって、侵入者を見つけるものと土地の力を有効利用するものがあるの。敵が壊したのは土地の結界の方で、これが全部壊されると私やアリスは土地の所有権を失ってしまう。土地のないはぐれ魔術師と同じになっちゃうのよ。もちろんそうならないように侵入者をあぶり出すための結界があるんだけど、こっちには何の反応もなかった。ま、当然よね。今回の敵は私の姉貴青崎東子その人だったんだから。青崎の結界は同族である姉貴を敵とみなさなかった。
Yeah.
あるいは姉貴は結界の抜け道、構造の資格をついたのかもしれない。
Or that, you.
もともとうちの後継者はあの人だし、それぐらいの知識はあったでしょう。そうして姉貴は私たちに見つかることなく好き勝手に結界の視点を壊し始めた。時間をかけてゆっくり壊していったのは、外からやってきた部外者を演じていたからでしょうね。さすがに連続して壊されればこっちも身内の犯行だと疑うし、うち親戚である浅木家とは仲悪いままだしさ。ま、姉貴の芝居に騙された私たちが間抜けなんだけど、セオリーとして結界崩しは長丁場になるものなの。
I assume it just took her
管
time.
理地の結界は強固に作られているからね。普通は半年単位での攻防になる。
I assume it just took her time, really, more than
攻
anything.
める側はまず結界を形取る視点が何個あるか、それがどの5大要素でくくられているか、退去の正しい順序はどれか、それらを地道に解き明かしていく。
So much?
もちろん管理地の魔術師たちの目を盗みながら。
Damn.
対して守る側は侵入者がいることに気づくから、悪さをされる前に敵の拠点を見つけ出して外敵を排除する。こんな感じで結界崩しは長期戦、あるいは前哨戦になるものなの。大抵は攻める側が視点を壊すぞとアピールして土地の持ち主を翻弄疲弊させてから魔術師同士の直接対決で決着がつくわ。なんで結界を全部壊す必要はないのよ。
Okay.
管理地の持ち主を始末した方が早いし、 その後は術式さえ解読しちゃえば土地を結界ごと横取りできる。わざわざ壊して作り直すより昔からある結界の方が土地に馴染んでいて強力だしで一石二鳥でしょ。
True. That makes sense. That's how Alco and Alice were duped. I never thought the enemy would waste the time and effort needed to break old sigils.
だから私とアリスはとりあえず受けに回った。視点を探すために町を調査している敵を待ち伏せてこれを片っ端から倒そうって。でもそのうちの一つがケチのつき始めだった。
Yeah.
三崎町の公園で山張って待ち受けていた時、どうでもいい第三者が覗き見してやがったのよ。
Yeah. Indeed. It was the ultimate taboo in the world of magecraft. The existence of mages must never be revealed to outsiders.
その後のことはわかるでしょ。
Yep.
私は敵との小競り合いをアリスに任せて、それより重要な目撃者狩りに専念せざるを得なくなった。言っとくけど、これはあんたのことだからね。そこで我関せずみたいな顔しないこと。
No sooner had Alka said that, Soja gave her that exact look. Clearly, he had been listening, not necessarily understanding.
ま、いいけどね。宗十郎がそんなだから秘密は漏れなかったんだし。で、あんたっていう目撃者を消そうとした私の単独行動は敵にしても都合のいいものだった。強敵であるアリスがいないんだから、敵はこれを機会に私を始末しようと特注品の人形を差し向けた。
Yeah, and goddamn was it annoying.
と思っていたけど、あれはただの嫌がらせね、間違いなく。そうでなきゃ私そっくりの人形なんて派遣するかっての。
So you are gonna pick up on the fact that it looked exactly like you. Sora nodded, thinking back to the Alco replica.
あれのことは忘れてちょうだい。まあ、そこから先はあんたもうすうす知ってるでしょ。
Yeah.
私とアリスは敵との戦いに専念することになって、毎日のように捜査の手を空振って決戦の夜を迎えて、今はこうしてる。大体の経緯はこんなところよ。
She stared down at her body, recalling what had happened. What had happened would help her accept her current state. Under the sheet, magical energy steadily flowed through her partially bandaged body.
青崎、これまでの君たちの話は分かった。けど、肝心の今の状況はどうなっているんだ？
But you wanna know? Alright. So your specific concern was the reason Alco was lying there. Not anything. What happened to her the night before?
バカね。状況も何も完全に私たちの負けじゃない。
Judging by her tone, she would have raised both hands sarcastic in celebration if she could.
負けた？
Yes!
そう。事実は正しく受け止めなくっちゃね。
Even Alco
5
can't
つの視
lose.
点が全部壊された時点で勝負はついたの。管理地の所有権は宙ぶらりで、明日には東湖の手に渡るでしょう。で、それを阻止したいこっちは、私もアリスもこのありさま。もう立場は逆転したから、これから私たちは挑戦者。つまり、はぐれ魔術師ってことよ。
She. Which meant that Alco, Alice, and Zodra only had a few more days with which to utilize the church's services. That church was not only an arm of the Mage Association, but also a branch of the Holy Church that monitored heresy. Alco and Alice were owners of Misaki City's spiritual lands, but they belonged to neither of these organizations. The reason the church helped them at all is because they were the land's administrators. Once those rights were lost, the church would have no reason to provide any further aid.
エイリ神父はコウモリだから私を助けてくれたけど、ユイカさんは教会の代行者だから、傷が塞がったなら明日にでも出ていけって言ってくる。
Wait, blind lady's an executor? Damn. I mean, lose your sight, you heighten your other senses, so I suppose that'd make her really good in combat.
教会にとっちゃ魔術師なんてもともと排除すべき商売敵だからね。バカリつかは泣きつけば力にはなってくれるでしょうけど。
Maybe. So that's a little of what Alka was talking about.
そうじゃなくて、青崎、昨日の夜、何があったんだ？
Soldier pressed her. Alka really wished he had not.
見てわからない。惨敗なんてものじゃないわ。喉に食いつかれる。体中好き放題噛まれまくる。挙句に右のママなんてなくなってたそうよ。アリスのチョコレートのおかげで出血死は免れたけど。
She knocked on a caster on her leg. Just spoke casually, trying to hide how much she wanted revenge for being humiliated. Bro, why'd you ask that? Contrast, Sojo felt empty. The color he had in his face began to fade. Was he repulsed by a terrible situation? Or his instincts telling him to flee? Regardless, he appeared very human.
なんでそこで固まる？あ、そっか。
Oh, you know?
私を見て吐き出しちゃうぐらいナイーブなんだっけ、宗十郎ってば。大丈夫よ、今はくっついてるから。
Dum dum.
ゆいかさんは治療専門だし、私だってただやられてたわけじゃないし。復元は青崎の得意分野だから、あれくらい問題ないわ。
Yeah. She gave him a reassuring look, but his expression was unchanged. I could expect him to worry, but this level of concern made it hard for even her to berate him. Being embarrassed, she started talking again.
けど姉切ったら、どうやってあんなのを手なずけたんだろう。金の狼なんて伝説の中にしかいないと思ってた。
I don't know.
寝台の神秘であるあいつには千年クラスの魔術じゃないと太刀打ちできない。かといって殴り合いでどうにかできる相手じゃないし。
As images of the night before entered Alko's mind, he bit her lip in anguish.
金の狼？
Conversely, the soft phrase snapped Soldier out of his state of shock.
そう、黄金の人狼。金狼って言った方がいいのかな。
Yeah.
狼男って言ってもわからないわよね。人間と狼のいいとこ取りみたいなやつと思えばいいわ。野獣というより魔獣の類よ。普通の人狼なら対抗手段はあるんだけど、トウコが連れてるのは黄金の毛並みをした怪物でさ。
And the golden fur means it's really strong.
あれは原初の人狼の血統で、魔獣を通り越して幻獣の域に達している。聖域の相手にはそいつらを上回る神秘、積み重ねた時間とか魔術の奥義じゃないと無効化されるのよ。
Yeah.
魔術は万能だけど、この年月の差だけは覆せない。人間の魔術師にとっては天敵みたいな自然災害ね。
The worst of the worst for real. Her words indicated more admiration than hatred. She'd whispered about the wolf. Strangely, it made sense to Sojiro.
何？
いや、要するに青崎たちじゃかなわない相手なんだな。
Well, yeah.
なんてひどいやつだ。アリスはお腹が裂かれてた。青崎は傷ついてないところはないぐらいだ。子供なのに、いや、子供だから加減がないのか。
Sojiro's face was a ghostly pale as he muttered nervously. Alko merely nodded in agreement.
ほんと。
Now you get it.
人の体を何だと思っているのかしらね。あのお子さん。なぬ？
Alko raised her head. She looks like she's seen a ghost.
子供って言った？あんた、なんでそんなことまで知ってるの？
Wait, yeah, wait, how do you know that?
やっぱりそうなのか。金色の髪なんて2人もいないと思ったんだ。そいつなら一度見かけたことがある。
That fucking kid at the old school!
青崎が口にしたような怪物じゃなかったけど、森の奥で。
The kid at that school! Wait a minute!
木の実が2人がかりでとっちめようなんて怖いこと言い出してさ。金一個ないから止めたんだよ。
Why was he here? Unless he was already working with Toko. Well, yeah, she offered all her hair to tame him, so that's why he was there. But what was he doing? His tone was as curious as the things he was trying to articulate. Uncle, however, had more pressing matters. Much more pressing.
見たって、どこで？
学校の旧校舎。あ、そういえば挨拶程度なら話もしたっけ。一度だけアルバイトの時に牛肉50キロを生で届けたことがあって。
The fucking beef delivery too!
この大バカ者！
Alice, Alka, what did you do? A strangely satisfying slapping sound rang out. One of her wounds completely. I grabbed a slipper in front of the soldier's unassuming face as hard as she could. She panted. The soldier was not completely out of his chair. For a while, neither moved.
なんで怒るんだ、青崎。
The boy asked, unfazed as he slowly picked himself up. He sat cross-legged. Uncle scolded at him like an enemy.
当たり前じゃない。
Not telling you about the wolf sooner?
なんでそんな怪しいこと黙ってんのよ、あんたは。
To be fair, how did he know the blonde kid was some mystical ancient wolf in the age of gods? How would he know?
言うほどのことでもない。第一、君たちにこんな話をしても怒られるだけじゃないか。
True, but still, how would Soldier have known that random child at the old school campus was some wolf born in the age of gods, bruh? Konoya was right, and so she swallowed her words. She had themselves a dinner.
ところで今日、牛肉の山を担いで届けたんだ。一匹丸ごと。いや、あるところにはあるものだね。お金と食欲。
When actually said that, Koana's response would have been less than cordial.
それはそうだけど、本当に金髪の子供が旧校舎にいたの？
Yes.
それが青崎の言う人狼かどうか自信はないけど。
Yeah, okay, yeah, we can't say for sure that was the same one, but he was blonde.
少なくとも町中の料理店が入れ替わりでおかしな注文を届けてるのは事実だ。駅前の大帝都なんてお得意様だって。
確かに食事のたびにあいつを外に出してちゃ目立つだろうけど。
She don't want to believe it, but the child had to be the werewolf. Could Choker really have been so careless as to hide him in plain sight? It didn't matter at this point. Werewolf's habitat revealed. Togo's base had been revealed too. To go to battle field, she needed an inconspicuous place to store materials. Misaki High School's old school building was the perfect place.
つまり、すべての鍵はあんたが隠し持ってたってわけね。
Damn.
隠していたんじゃない。
True.
だいたい青崎が裏山の掃除に参加していたら、その時に分かったんじゃないか。
Also true.
飛び丸一人に任せず、青崎も掃除に出ればよかったんだ。
Yeah, you really shouldn't have done that, you know? Got him. Despite the soldier's infallible logic, Naoko snapped her fingers. Set off another slipper missile. She let the faithful white collar express how she felt. Bro can't win. Hey, Minatos. Yeah, Sojo cannot win, bro. No matter the conversation, cannot win. Thanks for joining us. With the tightening of the collar, Sojo realized something. Aoko had changed. From the bed, she looked down on him with a commanding glare. Weak from injuries, she was as sharp as ever. We were forgiven for forgetting she was ever a patient. She was raring to fight, without saying who her rage was directed at.
Aozaki?
Yeah, what? Huh? Responded in a vulnerable tone. Perhaps she had been taken by surprise. She had an objective. She had been lost in her own little world.
ありがとう、宗十郎。
Date? Who dared to be sarcastic? This was different. She was genuinely thanking him. Never known her to be like this and was taken aback.
あのね、とにかくトウコの居場所が分かったのはあんたのおかげだから、礼ぐらい言っておこうと思ったの。
Bro finally got a genuine thanks from someone. Damn.
それがお気に召さなかった？
Extremely.
いや、お礼を言ってもらえるのはいいことだけど、まさかその体でトウコさんのところに行くつもりか？
Yes. His tone was close to scolding than sympathetic. I was simply nodded resolutely.
取られたものは取り返すものよ、宗十郎。
These are really desperate times. If Aoko is thanking Sojiro, bro, these are desperate times for real. Alice is like riding a bike with Sojo down the mountain and all that, like clinging to him. Bro, these are desperate times, man. Damn. Even to the very end, before Alice almost fucking died, she didn't want Sojo involved and wanted to protect him. Damn, these are desperate ass times.
それもすぐに相手のものになってしまう前にね。ぐずぐずしている暇はないわ。
But we won't lose, bruh. It's alright. She sounded unshakable. Even so, Sojo would not back down.
勝ち目がなくてもか。暇はないと言うけど、今はそれ以上に休息が必要だろう。
Nah, we'll be fine, bruh.
その傷だって、今は見れるけど、昨日はひどかったじゃないか。生きていたのが幸運なぐらいだ。
Nah.
違うわ。あれは幸運なんかじゃない。
Yeah, she...
そんな玉かっていうのよ、トウコが。
Yeah, she kinda just left her to die. Or to bleed out.
幸運じゃない。
そう。トウコはね、私が生き残れる程度の傷にとどめたのよ。今回は見逃してやるから、もう一度やってこいって意味でね。
And I bet you it's gonna bite her in the ass.
だから私は生きてるんだし、トウコは私が行くのを待ってる。お互いがお互いの舞台の幕を下ろすために。
Yeah, she's
そう
taking
で
her
なければ
time.
ここまで待った意味がないでしょ。
She's trying to enjoy this fact that she thinks she's winning.
嫌だけど、あんたの言葉を借りるならね。
Irritation tainted Aoko's words. Besides, she looked terrifyingly serious. She tried to fight to the death. Toko had given her little choice. Sora couldn't stand neither sister.
殺すために生かしたっていうのか、トウコさんは。
It's a mental thing, Sojo, you wouldn't get it.
青崎はそれが分かっているのに行こうとしている。
Yes.
そうよ。勝負はついたけど、まだ私たちの話は終わっていないもの。
Yeah.
確かに全開してから行った方がいいに決まってる。けど、そうしている間にトウコは岬の深部にたどり着く。そうなったら、私の最後の切り札さえ使えなくなる。
Your trump card?
自分にできることを自分からなくしてしまうのは。
What tricks do you have left? I mean, you got the big fucking laser beam, but I don't think she's gonna let you set up that. The pain in her azure eyes was not as deep as the pain of death. It spoke of the regret she would feel if she did not do everything possible while blood still flowed through her veins.
納得いったのなら黙ってて。いい。これは私の戦い。あんたには何の責任も関わりもない。私の人生なの。
Yeah, you're right, you're right.
座して死を待つなんてまっぴらごめんよ。勝つ気があるならいつまでもベッドで寝てるわけにはいかないでしょ。
Soda was dumbstruck. Aga could never let anyone else get involved. That was because she cared or cared less. Could not tell. But he did understand, though. Because if he wanted to stop her, he would have to do so with his bare hands. And he knew better than to try that. Even so, he had to ask one last question. If he did not, he'll be able to live with himself after leaving his room.
わからないな。青崎はなんでそこまでするのか、俺には想像もできない。君を縛っているのは義務と強制。どっちなんだろうね。
There was a sadness in his eyes. However, Michael was unmoved by them.
らしくなく難しいこと聞いてくるのね。
True.
いいわ。口にしても仕方のないことだけど答えてあげる。その2つはね、常に私を圧迫してるものだと思う。けど勘違いはしないで。義務も強制も誇りも恐れも周りから与えられたものじゃない。トウコと戦うのをやめたところで祖父は私を叱らないだろうし、アリスも文句は言わないでしょう。
That makes sense.
ここで逃げてもそれはそれで誰にとってもどうでもいい話になって終わるだけ。だから他人は関係ない。
Yeah.
本当に意味なんてないのよ、何にだって。でも私はトウコから逃げたりしない。
Of course not. Of course you won't.
これはただのここにいるっていう存在証明なの。
Yeah.
私は単に意味がないからこそできることは全部やるって決めただけなんだから。
Okay. Fiery passion. Okazaki had said her piece. Sora was left with a pang in his chest. I don't know why, but her words angered him. And again, at the same time, her self-confidence had him in wonder. Though she had said that her life had no meaning, her stubbornness gave meaning to everything.
じゃあ、それがたとえ。
Not thinking, he started to ask another question. He wanted to change her mind. Maybe he just wanted to hear her answer.
たとえ他の誰も見ていなかったとしても。
It came out as a murmur. Indeed, no one was watching. No one could know that she had fled. This was the situation Aoko was in. Even so, she shot him down instantly.
あら、見てるわよ。少なくとも私自身がね。
Deep. Her expression brightened. That was because she had been surprised at having to state the obvious. Sojiro was wide-eyed in shock. How could remain nonchalant?
知らないの、宗十郎。
ん？
生きてく上で一番の観客っていうのはね、他ならぬ自分自身なのよ。だから人生っていうのは油断ならないんじゃない。
Good point. Good point. So did not respond to her somewhat exasperated tone. Simply rose to his feet. He looked defeated. Just not like him at all.
宗十郎？
すまない。君が素晴らしいことを言っているのはわかるんだ。けど、俺にはわからない。
He could walk toward the door. He placed his hand on the doorknob. He paused. For a few seconds, he fought with himself. Desperately trying to think of something to say. No words came forth. So he opened the door. It swung with a strange creak, He left the room. Watch him go. Marco turned her gaze toward the window. It's nearly evening. A veil of darkness was threatening to descend on the town outside. By evening, the soldier remained in the chapel, sat alone at the end of a pew, slouching helplessly like a guilty believer ready to confess. Chilly air seeped through the walls, turning breath to mist. Frigid air stole the heat from the body without mercy. I looked around at the chapel's tall ceiling and spacious hall. What made the air feel colder somehow? Unsure what to do with himself, he stared into space. His thoughts were entirely unfocused. First and foremost, he couldn't understand what the buzzing sensation was in his chest. Time passed by. No answers came. To onlookers, he must have seemed deep in thought, or in deep sleep, like he would turn to stone if he left be. Either way, Claire looked down. The problem was his lack of awareness, not that he was aware of it, of course.
おや、夜間の礼拝とは感心です。
No. Oh, hey, May. Is you? Itchy, hold on. Soldier raised his head and turned to where the voice had come from. Stood before the altar was the man from last night, dressed in priestly garbs. He had been standing there. It reverberated dryly throughout the chapel hall. So I did not have the strength to stand, let alone leave. He just stared at the approaching shadow.
もっとも、この教会に精霊なんていませんけどね。
A priest shouldn't say that, but okay.
ここ、座りますがよろしいですか?
No, go ahead. The priest pointed at Sojo's pew. Not waiting for an answer, he took a seat at the opposite end.
改めて挨拶を。私は文塚エイリ。この教会の何なんでしょうかね。書類の上では持ち主になるんでしょうか。エイリ神父と呼んでください。
Eiri Fumidsuka.
あなたは静木宗十郎君ですか。なるほど。確かにユイカには見えない。
Right? Not Harry spoke in gentle but uninvited tone. He's a thorough egoist. Sojo knew all too well about people who spoke this way. The individual who cared for him when he first came to town, when he first came down from the mountain, was one of them. Sojo glanced across at him apathetically. But the Aries seemed unfazed by the lack of direction to the conversation.
少し君と話がしたいのですが、よろしいでしょうか。
She responded with a nod. They replied with an artificial smile.
青子が心配のようですね。
Yeah.
別に律香さんにもそう聞かれましたけど、青崎の心配はしていないんです。
Okay, guess not. She stared straight ahead as he answered. His voice sounded uncharacteristically weak and unsure.
けど、今はずっと彼女のことが気にかかっている。それがなんだかわからなくて、さっきから考えてる最中です。
簡単ですよ。君は単に青子に嫉妬しているのです。
Envy? Those few words, Sojo snapped out of his funk. He clapped his hands and turned toward the priest.
そっか。俺は単に青崎が羨ましかっただけなんだ。いや、でもそれは困るな。
Yeah.
自分の中にそういうところがあるなんて気づきもしなかった。
Father Harry did not respond to his confession like ramblings.
それで話っていうのは何ですか？
いえ、話というより質問です。
Well, go ahead.
君は今まで山奥に住んでいたと聞きました。そこで一つどうしても気になることがあって。
Oh.
気になることですか？
はい。おそらく 今まで誰もあなたにこの手の質問をしなかったのでしょう。
Go ahead.
それはあなたが他人にその手の不安を感じさせないからです。実際私もそう思いますし。ですからまあこれも縁ですし、私も肩書きがこれですしね。迷える子羊がいるんですから、それなりの務めを果たさないと後ろめたいというか。
Bro, you are yapping. Please get to the question. I really looked at Sojiro placidly. These people are like black holes that could suck the soul out of your body.
おかしなことが気になるんですね。その質問というのは。
Yeah, well, they say it's your question.
いえ、ごく自然の疑問ですよ。
Probably something like, are you happy or what are you doing tomorrow?
あなたはなぜ山から降りてきたのか。そこでなら君は幸福だったでしょうに。
Oh, why'd you come here? That's a good question. So I was not sure what he had done, but it sounded as though the priest was accusing him of something. Then again, it's a reasonable question, a little pointless. Soldier had no answer. So they ignored the sudden boy and continued.
山での生活がいかに厳しいものかは私も人並みには知っています。若い頃ちょっとした手違いで遭難したこともありますしね。山での生活はこの上なく簡素です。何しろ生きること以外に時間を割く余裕がない。楽しむために生きるのではなく、生きるためにただ生きる。生活は必要最小限をさらに切り詰めたものとなっていく。山での生活に比べれば都市のあり方は楽園以外の何者でもないでしょう。
I don't know about that.
ですが楽園の定義は人それぞれです。
She still did not answer. His expression remained blank. This sound was the priest's voice echoing around the chapel.
一粒の種の誕生すら喜びになる生活。電気の明かりがどれだけ暖かでも自然のままの厳しい寒さを君は尊んでいたはずです。
I don't know. It seems he's more used to the warmth by now, I'm gonna be honest. But
なのになぜ降りてきたのですか。山にいれば君は幸せだったでしょうに。
Father Avery repeated this question. His mouth remained firmly shut. Because he didn't want to answer, because he simply did not know how to. All he knew was... Excuse me? All he knew was, even if he wanted to go back, he could not.
困ったものです。そこをはっきりさせないことにはいつまでも救いがない。
Oh, yep, yep.
故郷を捨てた理由もわからないのに旅先の土地を愛することなんてまっとうな人間にはできませんよ。
Good point, though.
これは忠告ですが、すべてを無条件に肯定したところで幸福になれるとは限りません。あなたはもう少し自分の心を許してあげないと。
Sora could not make a sense of what he was being told. None of the father's last words made any impression on him. Being fair to yourself is easier said than done, of course. That entailed, Sojo was uncertain of.
そういえば。
Tokai mentioned something similar before, it impressed him. First her, now this priest. How could people know things he didn't even told them?
すごいですね。神父さんっていうのはみんなそうなんですか。
Sojiro said, as to where the weight on his shoulders had gone to. In a way, one of his strong points is the fact that his emotional scars do not show on the surface.
ええ、神父は悩みを暴くのが仕事ですから。ま、大抵は暴くだけで 埋めるのに失敗するんですけどね。
True.
悩みを暴くってつまり相談事ですか？
そういうソフトなのも承っています。私が解決できる悩みなどたかが知れているようですけど。
Yeah, you're not therapy. You're not meant to solve therapy problems, right? Bree shrugged and got a little disconcerted. Granted, Sojiro still did not trust Father Airy at all, but at that moment, anyone was a ray of light in his eyes.
じゃあたかが知れた程度の悩みを聞いてもらえますか？
君が青子をなぜ羨むかですね。
Damn! As though the priest could see into the boy's soul with his serene eyes.
まあそういうことです。
He's good at his job.
自分でもどうしてそう思うのかがわからない。でもあなたならそれを知ってそうだ。
知りませんけど、まあ無責任に答えましょうか。
Yeah, it's fair.
それはおそらくあなたには根拠がないからですよ。
Maybe.
自分の色がないと例えた方が正確ですが。
Sort squinted, trying to understand the priest's complicated yet concise answer.
ほら、そこです。君に優れた部分があるとしたら、その順応性です。
Okay.
山という異界から町に降りて、一人で暮らしていけたこと。
Oh, you didn't mean like literally flexible. You meant like in sense of adapting.
ようやく慣れた常識の中で、青子たちという非常識と関わっても暮らしていけたこと。
Okay, to be fair, that one wasn't his choice, but yeah.
そうであると努めているにしても、あなたの順応性は際立っている。原因は知りませんが、君には初めから自我というものが第一に現れてはいないのです。何事にも対応できるものの、種に交わるほど器用でもない。強いて言うのなら、色の乗っていない空白ですかね。
That's a good way to put it.
風景に溶け込む自然さは素晴らしい人徳ですが、自我がないということは居場所がないということですから。
Yeah.
いいことばかりじゃありません。
A very massive double-edged sword.
ユイカにまで見えないというのは予想以上でしたが。姿なき精霊すら捉えるあれが見えなかったのですから、君の無欲ぶりも筋金入りだ。
Ding. As if amused by something, Father Airy grinned. However, Sojiro understood neither the meaning of his smile nor his words.
憶測に過ぎませんが、青子はあなたを見て反感を覚えたと思いますよ。
Correct.
自分のないあなたは自己を押し通してきた彼女にとって認めがたいものだったでしょうから。
Sounds about right.
そして同時にあなたは青子に自分ではどうしても手に入れられないものを見てしまった。言葉にするとくだらない表現になりますが、そういうことです。
It is what it is.
先ほどは嫉妬と言いましたが、それは訂正しましょう。
No, you said he did. You said he
君が
did.
青子に、いや、いいです。
Yeah, it's not envy, it's that other thing.
言葉にするのはそれこそ野暮だ。
It's not your place to say that. Yeah, it's that other thing. Father Airy smiled gently. His fresh-faced grin that belied his age. When it came to Aoko, he seemed to forget his role as a priest. It was relevant to Sojiro.
神父さん、それで結局自分は青子のどこら辺に憧れてるんですか？
Oh, he can't answer that. To respond to Father Airy's rambling by being direct. Some would say the priest had been direct himself. But this was Sojiro, and he needed things spelled out.
今のでもわからないと。
No.
参りましたね。こういうことは言葉を尽くすほど実感が湧かないものですが、まあ私も神父と呼ばれる身です。少し切り口を変えて代弁してみましょう。
Change the strategy.
あなたは青子の過去を知っていますか？
Nope.
詳しくは知りません。高校デビューとかおかしな言葉を口にしてましたけど。
全く知らないということですね。
Yes.
いいでしょう。ではしずきくん、虐待のない例え話ですが、君は突然自殺しろと言われて従えますか？
Interesting place to start, I'm gonna be honest.
自殺ですか？
Kill myself? Interesting place to start.
そう、自殺です。神父である私が口にしていいことではありませんが、まあ私は格好だけなのでいいでしょう。
Yeah, bro, you really are no priest.
青子はね、近いことを求められたのです。15歳の時に。
Damn.
彼女がそれまで積み重ねてきた努力も希望も過去も未来も全て捨てること。今日からお前は違う生き物として生きろとね。どうです？それは自己の抹消、未来の死と同じだと思いませんか？
His words fit what Aoko had said about her past. That scared the hell out of me. It's in middle school. She had a normal life. Out of the blue, she became the family heir in place of her sister. Becoming a magician meant casting aside the life she had known. She had to leave behind her ambitions and prospects. The life of a mage, something she barely knew anything about. Life up to that point had taught her that everything from then on would bring her misery. Ako's grandfather was not the forceful type. Your sister had failed. Now, it's your turn, he had said. Did Ako resist? Nope. Certainly could not begin to imagine. All I knew is that she could not be happy with the hand she was dealt. If the life of a magician was attractive, to believe the possibility that Aoko could give up her lifestyle up to that point was to not know her at all. Aoko Aozaki put her all into everything. She probably achieved a lot in those 15 years. Her achievements and prospects were no doubt enough to make anyone jealous. Did she have the conviction to those... There's a word missing here. But did she have the conviction to throw those away and go back to square one? And square one did not come close to the reality of it. If she had envisioned for so long, would have been obliterated.
青子はどうしたんですか？
いやー、これがもう全くの頑固者でして。立ち会った私でさえどうかと思うぐらい簡単にうなずきました。震える指を懸命に握り込んで、やってやろうじゃないと見栄を切ってね。彼女は祖父の期待や青崎の責任感からではなく、逃げることを嫌って魔術師の道を取ったんですよ。拒むことは逃げではないのでしょうが、青子にはそう思えたんでしょう。逃避という行為はこれまでの自分の時間を否定することになると。
That makes sense.
今までの自分を嘘にしてしまうのなら、今までの生活に別れを告げることを青子は選んだのです。まあ極端ではありますが、あれは前に進むためなら全てを捨てられる人間なんです。
Jesus. The infectious smile crossed Father Aries' face. Not signaling his closest to Aoko, it conveyed the pride of a guardian.
ですが、私も思い違いをしていました。結局はそうなるように、青子は育てられていたのです。
Oh.
彼女の祖父は、瞳子が家を出ることも、青子が跡継ぎを了解することも読んだ上で、あの二人を育ててきた。
His grandfather sounds like a fucking god, bro. The way he protected shit, damn.
形だけですが、私も神父としてさすがにそれはどうかと思いましてね。柄にもなく青子を説得したものです。祖父の思い通りになることはありません。なんなら私とメキシコあたりに逃げませんかと。
To Mexico?
しかしまあ、躊躇なく振られました。
Aoko going to Mexico? Now that will be a story.
その時の彼女の返答は今でも一言一句覚えています。
だって私一人がどんなに泣き叫んでも今の状況は変わらないんでしょ。
True.
私にしかできないなら正面から受けて立つ。たとえ不本意で突然投げ込まれた川の中でだってできることはあるはずだもの。逃げるなんてのは最後の最後。それまではせいぜい華麗に踊ってやるわ。
He just recited her words as if recalling lines from a favorite play. It certainly seemed like something she would say. Like I said, in the room she was recovering in probably meant the same. Of course, when the audience is watching, you want their approval. However, approval must come from within first. Like I'll work to feel proud of herself before worrying about how others viewed her. She at least wanted to do her job with grace. Response to everything she had lost. She would hang in there, even if it meant going in alone. As to why Soldier envied her, well, that was obvious. Sojiro, she lived her life with her head held high. He was a boy who accepted everything, but had nothing. She was a girl who threw it all away, but never lost a thing. He stood in the meeting room alone, seeing the ugliness within, the sublime outside. Looking back, he finally realized what was eating at him.
もういいでしょう。君は青子の容姿に感じ入ったのではなく、青崎青子という生き方に感じ入ったのです。ま、青子は青子で、れっきとした美人ですが。
True, yeah. Still nodded, true, yeah. Especially in Tsukihime, god damn. True. The day he first met her, that was indeed how he had felt. It just took him till now to realize it. The strength in her eyes, her unwavering will had captured his heart.
なんかすごい汗我慢だ。
本当に小娘のくせにギネス級の頑固さです。
Yep. And in one small package, she got what? Triple jumps? She got 2 dashes, 4 jumps in release mode, and fucking 3 dashes some shit. It's stupid. Yeah, there's a lot packed in that one small frame. If Meltablood taught me anything, yeah. I thought Ares spoke from the heart. He raised his head, gave a small grin, and scratched his cheek. So many hours wasted brooding like an idiot. One of them still felt strange, but it didn't bother him to leave the question unsolved for now. To stay still, he stood up. Couldn't care less about the Aozaki family, Mage Madeline Soraka rushing off to her death. Right now, he just wanted to see her face.
お待ちなさい。病室は立ち入り禁止です。
Huh? The words echoed around the chapel. They reached Soldier as he was about to head back to Aoko. His side sister must have been waiting by the altar. quickly to block his path.
ゆいかさん、今病室には入れないんですか？
はい。しばらく人よけをしてほしいとクオンジ様からことづかっています。
Okay.
アリスが。
So it was suspicious why Alice would have said that. Understand being kept out if Alco was being treated, or condition had worsened, but this seemed different. Besides, Alco herself said her treatment had finished.
人がいいのですね、シスターユイカは。そんな方便をしなくてもいいんですよ。
Mm-hmm.
はっきり言ってあげればいい。今から病室に行っても無駄です。と。
Okay.
青子はとっくに出発しているんですから。
エイリ神父。
Priest began to explain everything from the pew he still sat in. The things he and Soda had spoken about. Why he, a stranger, would be so concerned about a person he knew nothing about. It all became clear to Sojiro.
初めからそのつもりだったんですね。
His voice was full of anger. Father Eri did not flinch.
申し訳ありません。青子にあなたの保護を頼まれたもので。
You're staying here, Sojiro. Please accept that.
彼女の準備が整うまでの時間稼ぎでしたが、私があなたと話をしたかったのは事実ですよ。
Priest's attempt to smooth things over was far from sincere. He grit his teeth to control his rage. Why had they not stopped Alco and Alice from heading towards certain death? Both the nun and the priest were of the same ilk as the mages. As such, they understood Alco's decision, and the priest understood Alco's... that was a weird sentence. If he did have the power to stop her, he would not have. Alco outside he knew was not about to hide away in a church and lick her wounds.
アリスは。
青子と行きましたよ。あれから30分は過ぎていますね。
Damn! Father Arian went so far as to divulge the time. Loa arrived, and you arrived right as we were probably closing on finishing. 30 minutes ago. Same time the priest reared his head. It'll take you half that long to get to the school from here. 10 minutes or less to get to Misaki High's old school building from there. Everyone mad now. Return to the entrance of the chapel. However,
待ちなさい。どこへ行くつもりですか？
the sound of her voice stopped him in his tracks. An unseen pressure locked him in place. Her admonition seemed to carry a spellbinding power, stopping the foolhardy boy where he stood. Well, she is an executor, so I'm not surprised.
あなたは魔術師同士の争いを知りません。何の助力にもならないばかりか、彼女たちの足かせになるだけです。
Correct.
彼女たちが命を落とすのは彼女たちの業によるもの。望むままに傷つけ合えばいいでしょう。あなたのような何の咎もない若者が教示に立ち会うことはありません。
Bro, we already fought them, and they got bodied. This is the rematch. They're going to the rematch. Bro, it's already happened, and we fucking lost. It already happened. That's why we're in the church, because we fucking lost. Yeah, you missed a lot. We lost so hard, bro. Alice called in London Bridge. He got bodied by a golden wolf. She got her stomach teared open, almost died. Sojo saved her, thankfully. Aoko was torn literally like 2 pieces and lived by like a sliver because Toko hates her. Like, bro, we got bodied so fucking... How are they... Because Toko wanted them to be alive. Because Toko didn't want to kill him, yeah, that's why. She's fucking with us. How nice of her. Yeah, bro, she's just being sadistic as fuck. I don't think you missed anything else, like, big after that, though. Oh yeah, I just explained Toko has a mystic eye, as you already know. Toko's mystic eye has glasses and has windows in it, so it reflects and has an infinite amount of mystic eyes in one eye. So, like, she could probably beat, yeah. She, honestly, her mystic eye, it's just a restrainment mystic eye, like, it locks you in place. Her mystic eye could probably beat Awkward. Because it reflects infinitely. And, well, nothing has infinite mana. Yeah, Sojo ran... Yeah. Sojo ran from the mansion all the way to Ruranji Park in, like, 10 minutes. I don't know how the fuck he did that. Because that's, like, super far. I don't know how the fuck he did that. But he did it and saved Alice. It might be a reason for it, I don't know, but I don't know how he did it, but he did it. A good attempt was not directed at Aoko or Alice, though, but Sojo for being so eager to waste his life. After that, I don't think there's anything else, right? Toko kissed Alice, right, the kissing scene. Well, to be fair, Toko did say she didn't have to, but she prefers doing it that way, which is funny. Incredible. Yeah, she gave her a charcoal, basically, that will explode if she uses magic. So, there's that. So if Alice uses Magecraft, she will explode. Until the charcoal is digested. Dick move? Correct.
何かしら希望があるのなら私も止めはしません。ですがこの件は別です。あなたが言っても彼女たちが助かることはありません。
Oh, you missed Ritsuka, by the way. The lady that helped Sojo clean the church with the comfy sweater and all that. You missed her. She showed up. When we first got to the church, she was there. You missed her. He can just beat the shit. No, he can't. No, no, he can't. What's her deal? She wants him to stay here so he doesn't die. The church have been ordered by Alice to protect Sojiro. And thus she is making trying to be like, okay, listen, if you go, you be dead, bro. So don't go. She was right. And we point for him to go. Amusement park, he'd have been useless in the end. Now they face something even worse. Imagine how he might contribute this time.
言っておきますが、青崎青子は祖父に護身術を教え込まれています。魔術以外でもあなたより腕は立つ。
Oh yeah, Anne, remember that blonde boy at the old school building that we saw a few streams ago? Remember that kid? Sure. Yeah, apparently that kid was a ancient werewolf in the Age of Gods called Beowulf. Yeah. And it can turn into a wolf, a big gorilla, apparently, some sort of like Uzaru, as Alice called it, and basically any living creature on the planet he can turn into, because it's born from the planet. So, in a sense, it's a true ancestor. If the description is about as straightforward as I've been told here. It's the most OP thing on the planet besides maybe Awkward. Yeah, it's the most busted shit the planet can produce. That's not Awkward. Like, that's not the true ancestors. He's just chilling at the school. He was just chilling at the old school that we ran into, yeah. Just one of the old schools. Like an old broken down school building.
その彼女もあの使い魔が相手では勝負にならない。
What a guy. It's actually a kid. Let me specify. It's actually a child. Not a... But guy's correct, but it's actually a kid. But it's actually kind of nuts how busted he is. Like, where did bro come from? Which is why Toko has lost all of her hair, because she offered her hair to... She offered all of her hair to tame the wolf. Which is why she got short hair in this game. So just physical strength on the edge meant nothing. Well, now, we're getting away. Yuko is correct, but yet...
でも行かないと青子には返さなくちゃいけない借りがあります
Yeah, the wolf works for her, yeah. It's just straight on for her. Correct! It is! Yes! Anytime Toko does anything in this game, I question how the fuck she went from this to... what she is in K&K. I'm like, bro, what the fuck happened? I'm so curious. Woman tames blonde child with her hair. Police in hot pursuit. Exactly. Spoke calmly, but firmly. Almost moved. Sister frowned slightly. She felt bad for him, but her warning was for his own good. If we not listen to reason, she tried to make him sleep. She raised a finger of binding at Sojiro.
それを言うなら返したい借りがあるですよ。それとシスターユイカ、教会内での魔術は控えてくださいね。
Yeah, it's forbidden. Don't do that. Mage travel in churches are forbidden. Please don't do that.
使うのなら筆跡に留めてもらわないと私の査定に響きます。
Investigation? Where's this guy? It's Father Airi. He is the father of this church. He owns the church.
まったくおとなしそうに見えて律香君より短気なんですからあなたは。
He's very sketchy though, so I don't know if that's all there is to it. He's very sketchy though.
エイリ神父しかし
行かせてあげればいいじゃないですか。それともあなたはやはり青子たちに退場してほしいと。
Well, to be fair, this church is with the Mage Association, so yeah, I mean, it's they're all kind of sketchy. Well, I mean, blind lady here is an executor, so like whatever Airi is, man, Airi's kind of suspicious. I just realized, wait a minute. Remove the K, rearrange the letters, and you get Airi. Wait a fucking minute. I just realized that. Wait a fucking minute. Wait a minute. Airi. His name's not Kotomine. They said his full name. It's not Kotomine. No, they're not related. They're not related by name, at least. Like bloodline name or some shit. Yeah, it's not like last name relation, but like that can't be a coincidence. Wait a fuck. That can't be a coincidence. No, I refuse to believe that's a coincidence. I refuse to believe that.
その問題と彼の献身は別の話です。
True.
改めなさい、しずきさん。あなたが言っても何もできはしないのですから。
Who knows? Yeah, but that can't be a coincidence. The statement cut Sojiro deep. Despite everything that was being said, his mind was made up. Everyone learned moment to release Mahoyo 2 and 3. No. Wait. Mahoyo 2? What do you mean by that? Are you saying that... Oh. Oh. Oh, it's one of these. Oh, Mahoyo's one of these. It's like Tsukihime, isn't it? Yeah, basically on it, yes. They got their ass beat, they healed up, and going back in again. Where's that been? It's not certain. He at least will not hesitate. Oh. Was supposed to be a trick. Sure and smart. Wait, is or what? Which one is it then? Wait, don't tell. I don't want another visual novel to be incomplete, man. Fuck. I'm sure the current status. Alright, well, I guess we'll just see then. Let's follow his instincts to the end. What a way they took him.
分かっています。でも、行かないと。
God fucking damn it.
ここにいたら、本当に何もできない。
It's about burned in his chest. When isn't to the priest talk? They think of seeing Aoka. He's not worried. He doesn't want to help. He just wanted to see her. He'd figure out what came next once he got there.
ほら、献身なんて考え自体が間違ってるんです。足を引っ張ると言いますが、どのみち会う子たちに勝ち目はないんでしょ
Mission has set on agreements that he intend to continue Mahoyo, but doesn't know if to continue them in the VN format or do them as movies. Bro, they gotta do them as visual novels because the movie will the Mahoyo movie coming out will not be able to cover everything in this one visual novel. That's simply not possible. There is so many scenes here that are really important that will not be able to be covered in one movie. This VN alone, this one visual novel alone, needs at least 2 movies. And they're doing this shit with 1? Nah. The rest has to be in visual novel format. It has to be. But I can understand why they wouldn't do the rest as VN format, because the production quality in this one is through the fucking roof, which means they have to keep that up and then improve upon it again in the next one.
なら、彼がマイナスになってもいいじゃないですか。どうせ破産するなら、豪快に破産すれば。
Which you could say is unreasonable, which I agree with. That is extremely, like, unnecessary to do. But, I mean, nothing against them being in movies, obviously. I mean, hey, I watched all of K&K. I didn't read any of it. I watched it, so I have nothing against things done in movie formats. But I just don't want, like, yeah, I guess I just had to wait on the movie, which it's this year, right? We know it's this year. We just don't know when, right?
神父。
ほら、宗十郎君、言って言って。
Well, he's not gonna he's not trying to fight though. Sojo just, like, it's as straight, narrow as Sojo said this. He just wants to see Aoko. That's about it. He just wants to see Aoko. It's very straight and narrow. It's not about fighting. It's not about being suicidal. It's just, I want to see Aoko. And if you have a problem with that, shut the hell up. Sojo missing a hand? No, it's, this is the, chair. It's a chair. Or the pews. The pews covering it, yeah.
今のあなたの返事で心が折れましたから。
It's just the church bench covering it.
足、動くでしょ
So there's the priest pointing at Sojo. Get moving again. Pressure weighing on his shoulders lifted. What with the fear in his heart? Could he help? He exposed Aoko and Alice to more danger? All such doubts had vanished.
行きます。縁が残っていれば、また。
はい。なんであれ、後悔のない一日を。
No regrets, No regrets, Sojiro Suzuki. Alright? No regrets. When that, Sojo began to run. So the Eri watched with a look of satisfaction. Reese knew if he could not persuade Aoko, he could not convince Sojiro either. Once he put his boy run away, Blind Nun listened to his footsteps fade into the distance. He was different from Sojiro and the priest. She showed no mercy to corruption or self-righteousness. She embraced benevolence to the innocent. Such an ordinary boy with his life ahead of him. He chose to follow heretics into hell.
最悪ですね、エイリ神父。分別のつかない子供を導くのが責任のある大人だと思いましたが。
She made no effort to hide her biting disapproval. Simply her way of showing concern for the boy. Father Eri shrugged.
だから、 いろいろと間違えていますよ、シスターユイカ。責任のある大人なんて言葉自体がおかしい。何が起きても責任を取る。それが正しい大人というものです。
The rest went unspoken. Didn't matter to him which of them died. With a warm, goodly smile, priest corrected the nun's misunderstanding. What a perfect time to end it, huh? Yeah, I just want to see the world burn, so it's Kyrie. Alright, so he's just Kyrie, got it. And that's gonna end it this time. Is it real? It's really the end tomorrow, huh? Depending on how long the chapter is. So the chapter? Yeah. I know you missed it, but like... Dude, that chapter was fucking ridiculous. Holy shit. The previous one before too, Howling, that was actually insane. So after the end, hell yeah. I'm not blaming you for anything. I'm not blaming you for anything on it. If you were late, you were late. You know, nothing to do about it. Yeah, we have the extra thing that's in the limited edition, something that G2 mentioned. Apropos of Ritsuka, extra story that came with the limited edition. We'll try to read that, cause I don't have that, so I have to find it online to read. And then whatever extra stuff the game gives me to read at the end for the archives. And then that'll be it. So tomorrow, I can't believe I'm saying this, we are finishing Witch on the Holy Night. And... well... I guess there's only one path left to go once Witch on the Holy Night's done. And it's to follow up on what I said we were due, you know, eventually. Well, yeah, we have, actually, no, yeah, we have one more thing to read, yeah, right. An Adventure of First Love, whatever this is. We have to read this. I don't know what this is, but this is after Witch of the Holy Night, so you have to read this. What is this? I can't believe Witch on the Holy Night is going to end with 3 witches fighting. False advertising. Exactly. So what is An Adventure of First Love? What is this? I had my notes. I had this left. Had this as after Witch on the Holy Night. So what is this? Correcting 3 witches and a random boy. True. That's just dimension. Okay, that's it. Okay, so I'll just have to find a place to read this. I'll get 5th edition, I think. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to try to find it and get it for it. Thank you. If you can do that, we can have that. I already had it somewhere. Sweet. If you can, we can sit and wait then. We have time, so I can sit and wait. So we can. That okay. So we'll finish the VN, and then we'll jump straight into this. And once that's done, that's the end of Witch and the Holy Night. Until we get more. Son of Beastler, okay, good to know, good to know. I probably should. Not to go. I mean, again, I'm not doing nothing tomorrow, so I could stretch it on till it's over, but we'll see. We'll see if I don't... I mean, if it's as long as you're implying, which, I mean, when you did it with Tsukihime, that bitch split up into 3 parts. Yeah, so, I might not get it on tomorrow. It's not like there's some, like, symbolic deadline I want to hit, like I did with Tsukihime, so... Either it all gets done tomorrow, or I split it to next week. You know, either one happens. Either way, either it's done on Tuesday tomorrow or Monday next week. One of them. Which one that is though? I mean, clearly I don't know. And after that, then it's time to go back to the original Tsukihime. That's going to be very interesting, and it's going to last a very long time. Oh, that's good. Just thinking about OG Tsukihime, that's gonna take a while. Ooh, that's gonna. Entry is definitely the word for it. Yeah, that's gonna take a while. Original, that's gonna take a while because we have plus disc, we got tutorial, plus period and talk, prelude, a fool's errand. Bro, there's so much. Let me count on the far side that I haven't experienced yet. Oh Jesus. Oh Jesus. And then once in like 10 years, I'm done with all that. Censor image so hot. We'll be doing the website version where you can automatically censor stuff. With the censor be on automatic, if I remember to turn it on. But yeah, we were playing for the browser version that already has all the wonderful features that you would want. Yeah. Yeah, and then once that's done in like 10 years, we'll be going to Mountain Blood to do those arcades and that story mode. And then, by then, hopefully, Red Garden's out and we can just jump straight to Red Garden. If not, that means I'm done with Nasu content until further notice. Which, that's gonna suck. Genuinely, that's gonna suck. Once there's no more, like, Nasu stuff to read. I mean, obviously at that point I could. That's not saying we wait that far out, but, you know, in between and such, that's when we could start doing the FGO read. Replay Piece of Glass Moon. I'm doing that the 27th of June. I'm gonna be doing that with my mother. So I'm ready for that. But yeah, I mean, like 100 plus hours of content on FGO, I'm aware. I'm curious though, quick question about FGO. Because the start is incredibly fucking slow, and we're doing for so much summoning. I just for the fun of it, obviously, no skipping any like most story. I was thinking of just getting a starter account that had just done the tutorial, nothing else touched, with a few servants, so that we can just get going right away. Are we fine with that? I can say the servants that are included and try to see if you'd sway it. Yeah. That's 1 year. Let me tell you the servants that are on here. The servants that are on the starter account. Again, it has like 100 quartz. Just tutorial. I don't bet no comment, fair enough. Like, only the tutorial's done, which I actually read the tutorial not too long ago, and it's just like catching you up on how the Chaldea system works. It has Ryogi Shiki on it. It has Bradamante. It has Castor Artorio. It has Tamamo, Jack the Ripper, Shi Huangdi, I think, the ruler, and John the Ark, the original. Those 7. Obviously, like, there's no materials, so I have to do all the farming. No EXP card. Like, there's nothing on it. How much? It's just $35. $35. It's not that expensive. Well, on it, I can't see the 3 stars on here, so I couldn't tell you. Holy, yeah, it's only $35. So yeah, it's a steal. Again, 100 quartz, only tutorial done, like bunch of good servants. It's a steal. You just lost a gorilla social credits points with that Chinese pronunciation. I'm aware. Yeah. Well, that's JP. Yeah, that's JP though, because global you have to constant update with global, right? So no arc bad account. Bro, on it, it's a global account. Of course, there's no arc. It's not fucking out yet. There's also like 32 plus golden fruit dimension, which, I mean, I'm not too fussed about that. I never run out of fruit. But yeah, I assume if we were to start doing the FGO reading, are you guys fine with this account? Or will you torture me with a brand new one where we'll have one shitty 4-star and Mashu to carry us through till we get good servants? Which will take a lot longer, which means it'll take a lot longer to get through the story. So you want like a reasonable... Must be some other deal out there. This isn't bad though. I wouldn't say it's a bad deal though. Because the problem is, I low-key just want an account with Ryogi Shiki on it. That's why I picked this one, because Ryogi Shiki's on it. That's about it. I just really like Shiki, so I wanted one with her on it, and this one's really good. Based, I know. I already have her on my other JP, my main JP, and my other global that I've already played for a while. I already have Ryogi Shiki on both, but I want a starter one with Ryogi Shiki on it. That's about my only reasoning. But I mean, if you want to start looking around for me, G2, that's up to you. This is John, so it's a good account. True. It has, like, the art setup needed. It's just missing Summer Ibuki, who's this year, so once I pull her, the account's good. Well, I mean, I just have to farm. That's the thing, I have to farm. Wait, make the craft essences, actually. So far, I can't promise that. It has Kaleidoscope and Black Grail as well. When it comes to craft essences, so it's got the good CEs. It's got everything you want for a good starter. Yeah, I'd say it's got pretty much everything you want for a good starter account. No Morgan though. Well, you can't have everything. That's not on it. Like you can't have everything. That's just how it is. Anna, you got new emotes to use, and you're still using those? Bro, you got new emotes, bro. Use them, you bastard. Can't believe this. Thank you, bro. Like, bro, you got... I gave you all new ones. Damn. Well, that's not new. There you go. This one's new. I got this one back in. Obviously, I'll have to... eventually commission someone for better emotes. But for the moment, I have something else in the works. You'll know eventually, chat. You'll know eventually. I'll show it off once the rough sketch is done, and I'll leave you with only that. Once the rough sketch, we will know. You know. The rest will know once the rough sketch is done. Which me saying that's already big spoiling what it is. I'm already mega spoiling it. But it's not like it's gotta be like a trade secret thing, you know. It's been a long outro. I'm running out of things to say. It's a national secret? Yeah, something like that. It's been a long outro. I'm running out of things to say. So I assume, by the sound of it, we're all still good. We're all still down for the FGO playthrough. It's just, that's gonna take a while. And by the sound of it, we're not all too with the servant selection. I mean, it's a good selection of servants, but it could be better, right? It could be better. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, I think obviously it's fine. It's up to me, right? It's my money, right? It's up to me. Yeah, that's the limelight I'm seeing. It's like, oh, it's got Castora, so it's a good account, right? She'll carry. She alone will almost carry you. No narrow bad account. No narrow bride, specifically that version. Cringe. I can't believe this. Cringe. Specifically the bride version. I can't believe this. But yeah, we'll see. If not this week, maybe we start next week. I'll have to find a day that works. Not married. Cringe. Yeah, I'll have to find which day works. Which I suppose is this where we finally cut off. Do we hack Persona? This is the time? Do we start putting breaks in between? When is the P5R stream? When Persona 2 is done. Wait, that's setting up my promise. In a couple more years, when the replay is done. I've only just, like, started Okumura stuff. Actually, no one started Okumura. Like, we only just had Futaba wake up again. Like, so, like, bro, relax. I have to finish P5R first, wait like a few years, and then replay it to like see if I still like the game. So it's a while away, all right? It's a while away. Yeah, I'll figure something out. X and P2 just like that. I think we'll do. I mean, we'll see how much longer, right? We can do like every other week, like switch between FGO and P2, and then just see how. If P2 is just tumbling, to put it bluntly, if P2 is still just tumbling across the ground, I might have to exit. Which is unfortunate, but this is how it is. Because, it's certainly a video game, to put it bluntly. Not that I'm not liking it, but like, it's not that I don't like P2. It's just it takes forever for anything to happen. And then something interesting happens. And it's like a pair of keys standing in front of me like, whoa, look at the shiny cool thing. And now you won't see shit like this for another like 3-4 hours. And it's like, brother. Obviously, it's not like I want like action, cool shit. I gotta have the calm moments, I get that. But the calm moments are not calm moments. It's me stressing out because I'm lost, trying to find the next story point. I don't know, it's not a game problem, it's a me thing. It's a me problem. Alright, I'm yapping. I'm surprised no one's called me out. Well, I guess because Kumi's not here, he can't call me out on yapping too much. Anyway, that's going to do it for this time. Have a good day, evening, or night, wherever you are in the whole wide world. Thank you. And I hope to see each and every one of you, the same time, same place, tomorrow, for, I guess, what I can describe as the beginning of the end. For Witch on the Holy Night. Which sounds extremely weird to say, because it wasn't that long ago we started it. Well, until tomorrow then. Bye-bye!